Hello, hello. How's everyone doing? Chat? Are we getting some chatting in the chat? The chatter's chatting chat. Oh, I missed this music. Says card limits. Aw. Yeah, no, we're back, guys. We're back on this good streaming schedule. It's the new format. I've missed Yu-Gi-Oh being good. Also, how's everyone doing? I have to reset the goal for this month, by the way. I just wanted to start streaming on time for like once, you know, because I'm actually enjoying this format right now, man. Like, this format's killer. Like, there's a lot that we need to discuss. We had an incredible, I hope everyone's having a good day up front. Like, please let me know down in the chat. You know, shout out to the lurkers, of course. Shout out to everybody on Twitch. Shout out to YouTube. We got 10 people, so we're right now just warming up for our normal Monday broadcast. And I'd appreciate if you left a like, because if we get 30 likes on the stream, we will be roasting deck lists. So make sure if you want your deck list, post-ban list roasted, make sure to leave a like. But how's it going? Card limits afternoon. Branded survivors. How's... That is pretty true on top of that, because of course, guys, over the weekend, Branded Fusion went to 1, which was not the thing everybody expected to happen. I mean, if you put a gun to my head and asked me what was going to happen on the ban list in terms of branded hits, I thought the backlash on Sanctifier was too much, you know, how it be with the player base over too long of a period. And Branded was looking to be one, like, the best deck if they didn't do something about it, frankly, I would say, for sure. So, I will say, you know, Branded actually is really good right now, guys. Like, if you haven't already watched my deck profile, I recommend it, but we're going to go over the deck list quickly. So if you want a more in-depth one, go to that video, but we're going to go over it quickly, and then we are going to get into combos, of course, and test hands. I want to show you guys the power of grass and the potentiality of it. Of course, it's going to have to be pretty theoretical with us not having an opponent, but, you know, and I think on average, you can kind of guess how many cards you're going to be milling. As long as you're not going against a 60-card variant, you're milling a lot of cards, essentially, like minimum of 15, so we can probably... you know, benchmark it from there and just show you guys like what milling 15 cards enables for our deck with like any other extender, which is what I talked about in the deck profile. Hope everyone's having a good day. Ron, what's up? What's up? Yeah, no, so Rafael Espina, how's it going? All surviving Branded members assemble. Let's go, let's go. Yeah, guys, I'm so happy, man. It's a good format. Like, Snake Eyes, as we know it, I believe is dead. Like, we're going to talk about it too, but there's a huge controversy right now where people are debating on if Snake Eyes is dead or not right now. So, quickly, we could go Dueling Book and then just go through, like, the top 5 rated games on Dueling Book. Obviously, the ratings just reset, but no one's playing Snake Eyes right now. So... I would say over, like, we're going to get to the combos here. We're going to get to the deck profile. I just want to show you guys, like, that's tier. This is Ubel, voiceless. You know, I've been seeing Gimmick Puppet. Gimmick Puppet, I think, did survive, honestly. Centurion, Fire King. I think Fire King is going to be the best deck. I saw, I saw Louis Sacco say the same thing, which I kind of assumed. But we don't see any Snake Eye, guys. It's kind of crazy over here because... a lot of people are claiming that, oh, Snake Eye did not get hit meaningfully enough because Flamebird did not get banned. And I was kind of a part of that camp where if that did not happen, we might end up seeing a game where Snake Eyes is still the best deck. But I feel like the designers at Konami actually know what they're doing. Like, we actually got the Beatrice ban. OCG did not get the Beatrice ban. And OCG players, they're not stupid. Like, they were asking for a Beatrice ban. I saw multiple of them on Twitter complain about the fact that, of what their meta is with Max C. And it's like, I don't know, OCG, like, we gotta give Konami of TCG some credit. I'm not sponsored by them. I'm not shill. I'm not even trying to get sponsored. Like, I want to provide unbiased opinions about the game, and they're doing a decent job on top in terms of the ban list, guys. Like, they are the ones who ban Max C. Like, someone made the doctor who plays Yu-Gi-Oh, who's also a Twitter personality in the community, I forgot what his name is, Shout out to that guy. He's always a great read on Twitter. He talked about how, you know, we're the only, or no, who was it? I forgot who it was. Maybe it was him or someone else, but, oh no, it was Hard Like Gaming. He was like, yeah, you know, like, it's the only format without, I forgot who it was. It was someone, but they were like, yeah, no, it's the only format that without Max E. Like, we gotta take pride in that, and then also that I feel like overall they're putting the game, trying to put the game in a better spot, and also adding spicy things like grass is greener back into the game, guys. I gotta take a drink of water. Yeah, grass is greener is about $25. Shout out to my man Zach. I was able to get it for a nice little $20 bill. Yeah, no, grass is greener is insane, guys. I went to a locals yesterday without grass is greener and left with the one I got right before the locals, of course. This card is just absolutely nuts and branded, and if you've been seeing my Master Duel streams, we have been also using this to great effect, so I just wanted to show you guys what this card kind of does in branded decks. We have the decks already shuffled, so I mean, we can go over the deck list at the end of the stream, I guess, because I just want to get into the test hands. I guess Gursky was one of those people. Also, fresh sleeves on the KMCs. We're back to KMCs, guys. I was using Ultra Pros for a while. I know you guys know that. Some people ask about my sleeves all the time, and I switch. I used to use KMCs a lot, and I started trying out other sleeves. I'm back to KMCs. It turns out they're the only good ones, at least I've tried. So I would say that overall, wow, this hand's just too gas. So I do want to talk about my first place run, though, with this deck. And I did make 1 or 2 changes, but that's like very tertiary. I was really happy with the build. I theoried with my man Christian. Shout out to Krabs. He came into the call, like, I literally theoried from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. with him on branded this format, and I got a lot of questions out. Like, I really just like was able to theory and test Super Poly, Patchwork, and we came to the conclusion that those cards are not good this format. I mean, Super Poly could be potentially, depending on how things shape up, because we are currently still waiting for the format to settle. But overall, where it's looking, where yugioh is one of the best decks. I mean, Voiceless is going to be one of the best decks too, but there's going to be a lot of decks in the same, like, it's going to be a pretty equal meta outside of, like, yugioh and Fire King, I think. Those will probably be above and beyond the best decks. Maybe not even Fire King, but we'll see. I think Fire King is relatively unhit, though. That is the thing about it, so... yeah, so now let me read some chats and then we're going to get into some combos here. But guys, we had the most insane stream on the ban list day. So if you want to see my reaction, go to the stream, and then you can go to like the top of the hour halfway into the video, and you will see that the ban list reaction. It was really a great time. We had Galzo on, we had a lot of different other great players and friends and mods to come on and talk the ban list, so it's always fun to do that, and it was a great stream, and we had around 600 people watching at one time. That was absolutely insane. Like, we had 630 people at the peak of the stream for like 20 minutes, or like maybe even longer, like, and we had like 400 people most of the stream. I just want to thank you guys. That was one of the coolest things that's like ever happened, honestly. Like, so it was just a surreal experience being able to see like so many people chatting and talking with everybody, and just experiencing the ban list together. Ban list brings the community together, for, you know, like, because it's always a new format. I think that's the beauty. That's why I wish we got more ban lists regularly. But I know it's tougher probably for the TCG to get them, you know, because we have to go through Konami of Japan and all that stuff. Ron, what's up? So I do appreciate you guys. You guys are the best community. That was like the best stream of all time. That was like my single best day of YouTube. So I'll just put it like that. Yas, Jarv Dog, you see Galzo's new format tier list, 40 cards. Haven't played a list under 50 in months. Wait, I didn't see that. I mean, maybe we can react to his I saw he has a deck profile. We could probably react to his deck profile. Shout out to Galzo. He did come onto the stream. We've had him on branded cast too. You know how it be. So big slaps. I've been cooking all weekend. Very good, very good. I want to see it, guys. Post your deck list in the Discord. Join the Discord, ! Discord on the on the YouTube chat. Of course, it doesn't work in Twitch chat yet because I have to get onto that. And you will get a hold of my Discord invite link, and you will be able to join one of the best communities that are growing. We have over 700 members. We had like 30 join today from that deck profile. Thank you guys also for supporting the new deck profile. We put in so much theory into that deck profile, and we went to I went to a very sizable fucking like, it was a locals, but it was like 35 people at start, or 34, and we had like all like very good players amongst everybody. You know, I won the majority of my die rolls, but you know, like a lot of my games I was just able to like play second very well, so I was still like, you know, I was able to display like the decks going first and going second potential very well, and I don't know, it's just, I'm very happy with the list and where we settled on for like a really good starting point for the format. So I hope you guys can take this and like run with it, because it's a very good list. I think that there's probably some like optimizations to be made, but like maybe in the extra deck, because like, you know, the extra deck's still tight. I'm running Masquerade, and guys, I was running 2 Mirror Jade in the deck profile, but I think overall I'm going to go to 1 Mirror Jade, because with 1 branded fusion, I think we're resolving Mirror Jade a little bit less nowadays. So, or just making the second Mirror Jade a little bit less nowadays. So maybe I could just go down to 1 Mirror Jade, and that's how I can fit like a whole toolbox of Masquerade. Masquerade on top of like Alba Lenatus. So I think that there's lots of considerations, like minor adjustments to be made, and also this is like, I think this is the best way to run 60 cards, obviously. So like we'll see other variants be successful, like 40 and 50, and I think we'll also feature those on the channel, of course. You guys know that I love 60 cards though, so I'm going to test with 60 cards up front in the format. So we'll move to other variants too, and then also have Raul on the channel. Shout out to Raul TCG in the chat if he's here. He does have branded synchro lists that he's cooking up, more branded Whitewoods as well, the sequel to branded Whitewoods, guys. Definitely look forward to that. And then also we have more lists coming out too. If you guys would like to see more general lists too, do you guys want to see some yugioh lists that we've been cooking? Do you guys want to see some Snake Eye lists? I mean, I don't think Snake Eye is very good, but you know, they are out there, so I could definitely just put those out so you guys have an idea and just show some combos too. But of course we are the branded channel, so one of the branded channels, you know, shout out to my brother and Galzo and the rest. So Guys Supreme Discord, yep, big slaps. I've been thinking on that. I rarely see Cash at the moment. See, I feel like Cash would be pretty interesting if that came back into the meta. It's always a solid, just like mid-range pick, to be honest. So also yesterday I was watching a video on the ban list and got MetaGamesGX jump scare when he was talking about branded. Who was it? I'm curious. I always like to see like when I pop up in other people's videos. It doesn't happen often, so that's why I'm like, oh, that's cool. Card limits. I feel like this ban list caused so much more divide than any other. Anyone that was for the list was being called between a Konami bot and a derogatory term. I mean, I feel like you might be exacerbating it just maybe slightly, but I know what you mean. Like, people were really just kind of almost apoplectic about the ban list, and when at the end of the day it's one of the best ban lists I think that we've had. Like, if you're looking at all the ban lists across time, I feel like if you're like looking at it on its merits, it's definitely one of the better ones. You know, we got some new toys back in the Dragon Rulers. Red Rose Dragon is really cool, Lunalight, and then on top of that, it hit all the top decks, and it did it in a really cool way because it makes it so Snake Eye, pure Snake Eye, is really bad, but but on the other hand, they keep their identity. You have Flameburge, and it's not going to be unplayable. You can still make good boards. It's like you lose to like an Imperm on a lot of hands now, and you lose to Nib all the time and all these fun things, but you don't have enough engine, so if you draw Poplar, you just die now on Snake Eye. But you know, Sup Darkmun in the Twitch chat. How you doing? How you doing? GZ1K, the only remaining Infernoble YouTuber, says GZ1K. Who's the only remaining Infernoble YouTuber? It can't be GG Jibriel, because I don't think he plays that deck anymore. Can we do a how to beat current meta matchups video? Yes, that is a great idea. I'm going to put that on the idea chart. How to beat current meta. Cool. How do you feel about Kit now, says Rafi L. Espinal, because I think she's very important now in any branded list. I think Kit is definitely a must run now, because you always have to be able to recur the banished branded fusion off of, at minimum, off the Crow, but more consistently off of the fusion duplication, because nothing changed. You're still going to get to branded fusion if you're playing branded. Like, just because it's at 1, it doesn't really change a whole lot. Like, you usually get to it through Quem Cartesia Shrouded anyway. So it really was just more about hard opening it and then being able to search your branded and red and lost and stuff like that. So, and not just losing to like double imperm sometimes. But yeah, you're going to need it because duplication is going to banish the branded fusion. So you're going to need to have at least a kit to be able to recur off of duplication. That's just what it is. You have to. And kit's great. It's a great combo piece. If you've never used it, I highly recommend it because it allows you to have a piece that you can search off of Mercurier that searches branded fusion, that searches or that you could search off of branded lost as well, which allows you to extend further into your combo with things like branded and white, which is a card that I think I would have liked to run in this regional deck list, because I assume all you guys checked out that deck profile. It's like 8,000 views. Like, thank you guys. I would say I really do wish I kind of ran branded in red or branded in white, but I'm kind of on the fence of running 2 branded in red on top of a branded in white. And when I compare the cards between branded in red and branded in white, I prefer branded in red. However, with 1 branded fusion, maybe that warrants just running that white. And that's what I think, you know, my man Marat was talking about, just in the group chat, because he was saying like we basically should be running Brandon in red, and you guys already know, or Brandon in white, and you guys already know I love Brandon in white. We talked about that on a video. So okay, I'm gonna read finish up on the chats and then show you guys some combos. My Sacred Beast take a ricochet. Yeah, card limits, rest in peace on your Sacred Beast. Like, people were like came into the chat and they paid the respects to the Sacred Beast players. It was actually mad respectable seeing how many people were just like, yeah, we feel for you. Lowest Mexican, bro, for the broken ones, do you think there is a good list without grass using something like Patchwork and Dogmatica? If you're talking about Dogmatica Maximus, I definitely think that Nadir Servant is going to be good. I don't think it is going to be amazing. I think, you know, it's another way to resolve branded fusion. I just think that there's a lot of really good shifter decks in the format. You know, you're going to have Ritual Beast, you're going to have Tenpai, and you're going to have the tertiary, maybe shifter decks like Flu. So it is something that you kind of have to contend with when considering Nadir. I think you need ways to play through hand traps going first sometimes, and you have a lot more room for board breakers and a board breaker package, which actually in the end enables you to side deck more cards, because your thrust is able to search all your board breakers if they're normal spells or traps, so you don't have to run that many, because thrust enables you to run 3 copies of any one of them anyway. And I think that's why we're going to be the best grass is greener deck, because Triple Tactics Thrust really is it's a staple in branded. Can you guys name another deck that main decks Triple Tactics Thrust that can utilize grass looks greener? I'll give you guys 2 minutes. All right, we can start prediction even, GZ1K. I would say you can't find one because of the fact that Thrust is a really good card for going second decks, of course. So like I could see Tenpai running that. Who's going to be running 60 card Tenpai? Maybe we'll see a Dragon Ruler Tenpai list. Witchcrafters can. GZ1K, stop the cap. I don't know Witchcrafters, and honestly, GZ, I'll have to have you come on. We're gonna have to have like a sub goal, so GZ1K comes on the channel to teach me Witchcrafters, and I have to win a rank to get in a high rated rank game with it. So no need for a prediction. Okay, well, Sky Striker piles, does Sky Striker pile want to run grass though? Does Infernoid want to run Thrust? Like, I don't know I guess Infernoid's gonna... Okay, so none of these decks main decked Thrust before grass is my point. Like, which one of these decks main decked Thrust? So that's kind of my point, because now they're going to main deck Thrust as a better left arm offering, which is understandable, but it's not like they can use it like we can. We can use we can use Thrust in the way to resolve Branded Fusion going first. They have no equivalent of Fusion Duplication going first. They are just using it for going second. So what I mean is, we are the best grass is greener deck. That's kind of what my point was going to be. Not really just like naming the decks or anything, but I don't think any deck was really going to main it. Or on top of that, I think One Day Witchcrafter 3, a good 60 card god deck, uses transaction rollback to freely activate between Needlebug Nest and revive Sky God and Soul Energy Max. Are you going to run triple tap? Are you going to run the Grass Looks Greener card limits? And would you ever main deck the Thrust as well? Do you have any cool normal traps you can set that would be good going first if you get shifted or ashed or something on your combo? Also, Laddle is $2. Pick one up. The card is great in different branded builds. Facts, 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 my man. I do have to pull out my Laddle because I want to also be able to combo with it, frankly. Where did I put my Laddle? Oh, it's over there. In my branded staple box. So, yeah, no, I do think that... I'm gonna read some chats. Do you suggest buying Dragon Lord? Yeah, no, I do think that it's, like he said, it's like $2, so you should definitely have a lad on you no matter what. I think it's just too cheap not to pick up at the moment, and eventually it will be good, so I think that is fine. I do... Yeah, here it is, so cool. And also, we could also potentially tech in the Shadal Dragon. That's something I mentioned in my deck profile, that if we have the Shadal Dragon in the deck, you're able to mill it really well, which is pretty cool. So yeah, grass is greener, really cool, really cool. Bro, for the wish grass wasn't... Yeah, no, grass will definitely go down in price, guys. If you don't want to buy grass right now, you don't need it to play. You like someone mentioned before, you only need you don't need it to play the game. You don't need it to play branded this format, but it's really good, and I think it's the best way to play the 60 card branded. It just makes 60 card branded way better, you know. It just makes 60 card branded extraordinarily good. I'm gonna shuffle this deck so I can actually get some unbiased mills here for the old grass. Now might only work if you include Monster Gate and Reasoning. So yeah, that's the thing. Like, we could all like the Salty Fry. My mod also suggested we could maybe use Reasoning, which would be kind of cute, right? Because we have a bunch of different levels. They'll probably call 4, but like if they hit like an 8, that'd be cool. But if they don't call 4, like, it's really bad for them. Ron, what should I do with my Brand Chimera since Brand Fusion is at 1? I mean, you probably shouldn't run Branded Chimera if Branded Fusion's at 1, Ron. You kind of should just run pure Chimera at that point. I mean, you could just like keep doing... You just run more engine. I mean, you're kind of spamming your question, but yeah, no, I'm gonna try to build the runic engine for Chimera at the moment. Yeah, that's fine. How's it going? Big slaps, Max Musterman. How you play with the possibility of like banishing both Quem, Cartesian, banish Brand Fusion off of one pod desires? That's just such a hot, not even like a scenario that has ever happened kind of thing. Like that permutation of just like cards you'd banish off of the desires is just will never happen. And if it does, it's like, okay, that's like the equivalent of like bricking 1 in 20 games like you're supposed to if you have a properly built deck. So desires is really good though. I think to run 60 effectively, and also why 60 is so good is that you are generating more advantage in going from 6 to like 9 cards going second, or like 5 to 8 or 5 to 7 cards going first because of your draw power. And there's not like a ton of Droll. Like Droll might come back in the format because it is looking a little better than it was last format, but also it's bad against Yubel, frankly, though, because they just go for first action Phantom, but a lot of the time they don't. So we'll see. But no, I'm going to release a guide on how to play around Pod Desires and Branded off of some banishes. But you just have to know how to play without some pieces. Because all your pieces are just ways to resolving Branded Fusion, essentially. Or like pseudo-Branded Fusions. or doing what you would do with branded fusion, essentially. So, like, as long as you have enough of the pieces still not banished, you're able to play the game. You just have to know how to play with those pieces exclusively, kind of thing. Like, if you banish branded fusion, okay, it's Quem and Cartesia control, you know, and you're using your Albazes and your Shroudeds or whatever. If you banish all your Albazes, you use your Shrouded Dragon, kind of thing. If you banish your Quems, you're friggin' you're doing what Quem would do in the main phase, kind of thing. Darkmon21, I stopped playing the game when ishizu tier was tier 0. How much have things changed since then? I love branded best deck I ever played. Hell yeah, branded best deck. It's one of the fun, that's why I continue to play it. It feels like a very rewarding deck for just like the time you put into it, because you get better the more time you play the deck. And the deck has so many different win conditions and like strategies for a fusion deck. It's so diverse. I love the deck. And it's very deck buildy. Like, you can do whatever you want with it as long as you have the 40 branded cards. And that's why I like 60, because you can actually deck build with branded. When you don't play 60, you can't quite deck build with it that well. Like everything just starts looking the same. Like 50 is solved, like Nightfall solved that, like 40 is pretty solved. Christopher Cordoba would, except for like, you know, we've seen spicier deck profiles too. With third Cartesia, yeah, no, third Cartesia is fine. Interesting, says Jordan. Well, technically it's not. At least tier head interactions that Richcrafter can. Lee Warrior, how's Terminary Zero? I have not watched it yet, Lee Warrior. I've been so busy with the BANLIST stuff, unfortunately. Devin Reeves, channel member in the chat alongside Maxi, of course. Lee Warrior 88. What's up, what's up? Nice deck, bro. Thank you, thank you. I was very happy with how this deck performed at like a pretty, like, I've seen OTSs with less people, so I felt like this was definitely like a sizable and like a good display of what the deck can do. So let me show you guys like what grass kind of does. So like, let's just say on a normal hand, like let's just say you draw up grass, you only need like one extender. Like, this is a god hand right here, but I just want to show you guys like what the mills look like. So I do want to shuffle one more time to show you guys like how it helps your combo. Okay, so we'll go grass, and like I said before earlier in the stream, we're going to go off of like I think 15 cards, because both players draw 5 cards. So both players, or presumably if you're going against 40 cards, it will be 55 cards versus like if you're like, it depends, like whatever, 55 or 55-35, so you can very easily just mill 20 right there. But let's just say for sake it's like 18 to be safe, just in case, with like drawing and going second and stuff like that. So grass is greener. So also going second, like I said before, thrust is a copy of grass is greener. So this card's going to much more realistically be resolved going second. So you do have to realize that you won't always have this going first, but if you do draw this going first, it's very broken. You're gonna win the game. So I kind of want to go slow with the card and then go from there for like maybe board breaking stuff, and maybe just like with single cards or something like that. But you know, resolving grass, in a hand like this, I would definitely go grass first, because like they can't droll you, so like why wouldn't you just go first action grass? Also because you have Shrouded Dragon, so if you mill, or you have multiple different ways to get like to Retribution in Graveyard. So if you have a way to get to Retribution in Graveyard, even if you mill Branded Fusion, it's totally fine. So yeah, grass, just mill 20 or mill 18, right? So let's just say, wow. Hi, TEARLAMENTS Shiren. This is why we run the TEARLAMENTS Shiren. What's up, Dustby and Tragedy? And we're milling what's up, High Spirits. So basically, this is what you're getting off of a grass looks greener. And like realistically, it probably should be about 2 more cards. And look, you'd milled a Shroud Dragon if it's 2 more cards. So if you guys think like I'm off on my math on this, you guys can let me know, because I've been testing a lot with this, so this is usually what it's at. But just imagine this kind of thing. You already have 4 cards in hand, and you only need one other. Like, let's just say you just have a Luber. Like, what this does is like, you hit a good mill, such as Shiren or like a Shadal Beast or something like that, which is why I've considered to run as well. Or just more TEARLAMENTS names. You're able to automatically just go like TEARLAMENTS Shiren 1, Tragedy 2, and then just fuse back the Fallen of Albaz plus the Shiren, and then you are able to, I mean, to be fair though, it does actually, you have to be careful about shuffling Fallen of Albaz back in with Shiren, because you have to be able to have a name for Fallen of Albaz. So that's why I like running 3 Shrouded Dragon, and we saw with the extra 2 cards we milled Shrouded. So at that point we could just obviously go into Lubellion and then discard, oh, it didn't even matter, because if we just had Shroud in hand, then we can discard Shrouded. It counts as an Albaz in grave, and then you can make Mirror Jade just for free, you know. And then on top of that, you do have obviously a search off the tragedy, which you could get a Quem at that point. I just think, and you guys also see that you get Cartesia and Mercurier in the graveyard. So like, what does that do? Well, now you get to search Branded Fusion, or well, now let's just say you get to Branded Fusion. Obviously with that kind of like setup, you'll get to it one way or another. You could go Branded Fusion, and then you can basically go into an Albion, and then Albion's going to be able to banish that Mercurier to make a Lubellion, and then the Mercurier is going to be able to use its effect to search out a card. So you're going even more plus, and it helps insulate your combo lines really, really nicely. Like, you guys know we play in main phase 3, and the only way we play in main phase 3, aka the end phase, is by putting cards in the graveyard. Like, it's always good to have a Cartesia in graveyard. It's always good to have an Aluber, so in battle phase you have an extra body so you don't die all the time. Also, just an extra card for like High Spirits for a discard fodder. In Tragedy, you could obviously just banish Tragedy if you mill the Branded Fusion to reset it, or the Branded Lost, or a Branded in red. So if you're worried about milling Lost, just get Tragedy to the graveyard kind of thing. It's such a good card. Like, I felt like something like this would be necessary, and I also want to show off just like basic combos with this deck too. I just wanted to start up front with like the grass stuff, because grass is just like insane in Branded, and I see a lot of people saying, oh no, you shouldn't be running grass in Branded, and I just feel like that couldn't be anything further from the truth. Like, grass in Branded is one of the most broken cards ever. Like, it's legal in Master Duel, and it's at 2, I think, in the OCG. And if you look at every Branded list in both of those games, they're all 60 card variants. You want to know why? Because Grass is Greener is nuts with triple tactics thrust. Like, it's a good board breaker, and it's not like the direct reason. They also have other hits like Branded Opening and Aluber to 2 or 2 and 1 respectively. But for that exact same reason, it's like, you know. So this is kind of like a funny hand, because like Shiren is like our best mill, and you can obviously just like replace Shiren for like a better mill. But I think, like, especially like I mentioned before, with running a singular Mirror Jade, you're kind of allowed to get away with that with when you run a Shiren. Like, I've seen people justify running the like 1 Albion or 1 Shiren or 1 Mirror Jade because they run a Shiren or a Havness, and that's like the only way I would really justify running one of these cards. I just feel like it's a lot easier to run 1 Mirror Jade than 1 Albion. Like, Albion just bridges you into everything else, but to be fair, there might not be that many great targets as good as Mirror Jade, so I understand. But yeah, no, I think that Shiren is just like a broken card that also like helps you unbrick hands, because obviously what you can do here in like a hand like this, this hand's just really stupid, because like you obviously just go grass and then just play from there. So we can just like do one more grass hand and then just kind of go to like more standard stuff, unless you guys want to see like more just fun grass hands, honestly. Twitch mobile throwing. Oh, what do you mean? Also, I do have to put up my Streamlabs and see for notifications and everything for donations and follows and all that fun stuff. I do appreciate everybody for supporting the channel lately. We've been getting so much support. Thank you, Darkmun, for following on Twitch. Thank you, Ricardo Sullivan, for subscribing. Thanks for subscribing. I'm just saying. I do appreciate it. Is Dueling Book server down, or is it just me, Lee Warrior? I'm not sure. I will check right now for you. And GZ1K can't start prediction on mobile for heads or tails. Oh, okay. Jerry Luna, Nadir loses to Shifter while High Spirits doesn't. Also, High Spirits insulates you from losing to a single Ash. Yeah, exactly. I think that High Spirits is just a way better card than Nadir's, and it's kind of difficult to run both. Also, yes, I do think Dueling Book is down maxi. It's not loading for me. Jerry Lee Warrior, I need one more Quem. I got my Branded back to we got the Branded gang back together. Hell yeah. Let's get Lee Warrior a Quem if anyone's off is trading or selling one. We do have the marketplace in my Discord, of course. iTech Gaming, Jerry Luna. In Europe, we get the Mirrored Duelist Tins, which is supposed to have Quem in it, and the Despian Lulu Wall Lilith. What's up, everybody? What's up, Brandalorian? How's it going, bro? How's everyone doing this post-banlist world? It's going great. Honestly, you know, I think Sanctifier probably should have been banned, but if they were going to do one hit to branded, you know, I think I would prefer it to be Sanctifier. No, I think I would prefer it to be Gimmick Puppet. Yeah, I would Gimmick Puppet and Ido like in Master Duel. That's what they should have done. But the second, like, branded fusion to 1 keeps the identity of the deck and what we've been doing, which is good. So if you put Diamond to the deck, it's kind of respecting that, and I think that's a good thing with such a cool fusion deck like that. I don't know, I would like not for branded not to be unplayable. I think 1 branded fusion doesn't do a lot to the deck because you've always been searching 2 branded fusion anyways. And it does hurt, I think, 40 card variants more and 50 card variants more, the 1 branded fusion. But 60 card variant, I think it doesn't hurt that much outside the desires interaction because you weren't really hard opening branded fusion in the first place. Devin Reeves, I really like how having multiple Bestial Lubellion and Bestial Saronir synergizes with Grass makes them even better combo pieces. Yeah, exactly. So, like, we can talk about that. Like, just having good mills when you're running Grass is always a good thing. And I think right now with Appaloosa being banned, I kind of went over this in my deck profile, but not really probably as in-depth as I needed to, is running 3 Bestial Lubellion right now is crazy. Shout out to Raul for this theory, because he told me a few months ago if Appo ever gets banned, we're running 3 Bestial Lubellion, and that makes a lot of sense because with Appo being alive, this thing always got negated, so you know there was no real point in running 3 because it would get negated, then you would have another in hand or something. I think having 3 allows you to always insulate your combo pieces, especially with 1 branded fusion. It's super good because every single time you have a branded combo piece with Bestial Lubellion that's full combo, like Shiren plus Lubellion plus deployment, Lubellion plus opening, Lubellion plus high spirits, Lubellion plus branded fusion, Lubellion plus Aluber, Lubellion plus Quem, Lubellion plus Cartesia, Lubellion plus fusion deployment. Like have I made like this card like that is full combo. Like all those are full combo. All those 2 card combos are full combo. So like having 3 Lubellion ensures you that you always get the full combo, which is really important when you don't always have the 3rd branded fusion. And then also just having the 3 Saronir is just crazy right now because Bestials are still good in my opinion because there are going to be Snake Eye or Fiendsmith decks. I don't think Snake Eye will be around as much, but I think to hit the Fiendsmith stuff, it's not bad because you can blow out the Desiree very easily. And then Saronir is just a combo piece, obviously, because I think right now the best way we have to play around Ash besides Triple Tactics Thrust that we have in Engine, guys, it's cheap, is 3 branded and high spirits. And what better way to insulate branded and high spirits is by having so many Bestials. I mean, I only run 1 other Bestial. I run a Magnamut now, and the deck profile was a Bestial Aluber, but I didn't really like the Bestial Aluber in the end. That was really just like me forgetting to take it out kind of thing. For a Magnamut, kind of switching it out. I do think because I was running it with Super Poly. When you go normal, you can search. So this is the theory. If you guys want to test it, you run 3 Bestial Lubellion and you run the Bestial Luber and you run Super Poly. So Lubellion plus Bestial Luber, or sorry, Lubellion plus Super Poly automatically becomes a Mirror Jade if you're trying to break a board because you have the Super Poly, and you also have an Albaz on board when you normal summon Bestial Luber since the monster counts as Fallen of Albaz on field and graveyard. But yeah, highly recommend running multiple Lubellion right now, guys. Very good in the current meta. So let's do this combo hand because this hand was kind of funny because you're like, what if you hard draw the Shiren? Isn't Shiren bad if you draw it? No, not at all, because you can combo it with branded opening or fusion deployment to make its effect trigger. Cartesia. So obviously you can just go grass, mill your 18 cards. Let's see what 18 fun cards. It's also just a fun card, man. That's why I love what Konami did. And, like, we'll see, like, what happens when you get worse mills. Because if you're looking, we have bad mills right now. Like, Branded Fusions right now. Or right there, Mercourier. Aluber, branded in red, opening. So, yeah. And then, like, for, like, 2 more cards, I guess. That's, like, fine. So... I do think we have the Shrouded Dragon, so we can go Shrouded Dragon. That might look bad on its face, but you go Shrouded Dragon effect, send the Retribution for cost, and then you can go Branded Retribution to... We're gonna have to get a Mercury, or a, because we have the Branded and Red in graveyard, so we're gonna have to either get the Kit or Tragedy. But we have so much advantage already, because we have Branded Fusion now. That was just a way to Branded Fusion. Grass just equaled Branded Fusion plus a... Cartesia plus a Mercourier plus an Albaz and plus an Aluber in graveyard plus a Albion for follow-up. That's pretty good to me, honestly. Like, even if you milled both your branded lost and your branded in red, because then you can go you can get Tragedy to the graveyard. Like, you could go Shire in effect, mill the or pitch the Gimmick Puppet, and then mill 3 Mercourier. Oh my god, rest in peace my Mercourier is all my... But it's like, it's still just like, it equals Branded Fusion, right? Like, that's kind of why I wanted to show there. We'll play out a full hand now, just like elsewise, because I do want to show you guys just like how 60 card branded is supposed to work when you don't see the Branded Fusion. It'll be really funny if we draw Branded Fusion. It happened once at the locals, guys. We're going to go over a gameplay, too. Make sure to leave a like on the stream, guys. We are going to roast your deck list if we hit 30 likes on the stream, guys. We have 60 people watching right now. I do really appreciate the continued support. So if you guys want to help support the channel, click the join button or donate on donate a Twitch Prime sub or whatever if you would like to support the channel. Either way, you could always click the like button if you want to see me roast your deck list. We're going to go over a bunch of deck lists from my Discord post ban list. So please give me your post ban list deck list. So we're going to go over some combos here and talk a little bit more about the deck and then review my locals gameplay, because you guys are going to see never before seen gameplay of me playing at this locals that I won. I only was able to record 2 games because I came late. So like I wasn't able to record game 1 and then round 1, and round 3 just never ended up recording. So I have round 2 against Ubel recorded, and I have round 4 against Phantom Knights, the final. So, so this hand's actually really fun, honestly. We have branded opening into Shiren, into Albaz, into opening. And I think Shiren doesn't lose. Like, I'm going to show you, I guess this is just a Shiren combo video, guys, showing you guys why Shiren's just a busted piece in branded. I kind of miss running Shiren. I used to run TEARLAMENTS back in the day. This card's busted. Like, this was always the best card in TEARLAMENTS. So we can go TEARLAMENTS Shiren effect, pitch the Albaz, and then automatically mill 3. It's not even on when it's on field. It's while in hand. We have a Aluber, Shrouded Dragon, and Droplet milled, which is just great because we can just do some pretty cool things with Shroud Dragon if we need anything else. And plus now we have an Albaz in the graveyard. Then we could go opening, pitch the Retribution, and we can get out a an Aluber, and this will play through Imperm here because we can obviously just like, let's just say we get Impermed on Aluber. Okay, fine. We can then go Shrouded Dragon effect, sending the Branded Fusion. And now we can go Retribution. This is why, like, our deck is such a graveyard deck, and a lot of the time you can get to Branded Fusion by, you know, by doing all these interactions. So that's just what 60 card has always been doing already, and now you have Branded Fusion. I have a Thrust, so this plays through all you need to full combo. Also, you do just have a random Shiren on board, which isn't the best, but it also got us another combo piece, which helped us to play through Imperm. So it helped us play through a hand trap at the very least. And we do have Thrust, which plays through Ash Imperm, so that's really good in my opinion. Not bad, not bad. That was more like playing through hand traps than anything. We have 66 people watching right now. What kind of stuff do you guys want to see? Do you guys want to see, like, me go full combo, like, without hand traps? Or do you guys want to see me play through hand traps? Because Branded, I think, at 60 card plays through so many hand traps. And if you're playing 40 or 50, you lose your ability gradually to play through more hand traps. Like 40 card branded isn't playing through a lot of hand traps. Icarus Kid, would you play 60 card with grass rather than 50 card normalish branded? Because I do not fully agree with grass being a thing in branded. Why do you not agree with grass being in branded? I'm curious. Like, I'm not like, I'm always open to suggestions. Can I stop drawing Shiren? We're gonna get a different card because they're a different hand because I want to do another Shiren hand. So I think 50 card is the other best variant. I think it's either 50 or 60 for the best variants. I personally believe that 60 is better. We see the performance. I think on average 60 card variants have really good performance, but like 50 card also has probably as much tops too, especially with our boy Rob and Marat doing so well at their nats respectively. So God, this is one of those hands where I'm like, this is like the 1% of things where you draw double allure, but if you go second, of course you get the dark. So like I've made these ratios so good with allure where you always have a dark at least on the 6th draw. So you could just like blind allure, but on this kind of hand you probably do just want to go to try not to get you do probably have to resolve those allures one way or another. I actually did win a game at locals on stream when I did not have any darks in hand with allure, and that might be like a sign, oh, don't run allure in branded. I don't think that's the case. It doesn't happen very often. So we'll actually play out this hand right here. So I also did not update the widget, or yeah, the member goal, so let me do that quickly. If you guys have questions, is Sword Soul still a thing? I mean, Sword still played. Not really right now, but it will be, I think, when the new Ryuji archetype comes out in the new deck building set. So I'm very much, I think Sword Soul lovers are going to like that because it allows you to go in for Rudris, which is just another Baron for you guys, right? So, yeah. So goal amount, start amount 0, and after 090 or 1001 2024. Okay, so let's do this. Let's do this, folks. Why is this not working? Cool. Oh, did it not? Alright, so no Baron got banned. Have you seen Hakuna Maidata and Galzo update branded deck list? I have not. I have to I saw like I saw that I saw that branded was able to, or I saw that both of them had deck lists, so I'm looking forward to seeing what they have. Is Pack Play branded again post ban list? Yeah, I saw that there's a lot of stuff, or I saw that he won his locals over at the new luxury store, so that's pretty cool. If I don't have grass, what should I use instead? Just like Foolish, just like an extender. It's not really like a card you can replace, but if you're talking about my list, like I would have used Foolish Burial instead if you're looking for a replacement. I got everything except a 3rd Cartesian and a 3rd High Spirit, but I'm close as Brandalorian. Very close, very close. Nadir loses to yeah, no, I already read that. Pablo El Nano out Despia's for Keeper Dragon and Instant Fusion. We could run Keeper Dragon. That's just another normal summon though, and we already have enough good normal summons, right? It doesn't replace branded fusion. Got 70 people watching right now. What's up? What's up, guys? Okay, so if you guys want me to react to those videos, let me know. Let me know. She got sniped with Savage Dragon, says Cheesy 1K. Oh boy, oh boy. So yeah, no, this is why High Spirits is a broken card as well. So this is a really fun hand to play out. So we'll just play out this hand entirely and just see where we can go from here. I think in this kind of hand, you kind of save the High Spirits to play around Shifter or Droll. You always save high Spirits to play around Shifter and Droll because it's a quick play. So you can chain to Shifter or the Droll and Lockbird. So you can obviously play around it and actually be able to search / put a card in the graveyard. So that's really good. You never want to shotgun it because if you shotgun it, then they can just shotgun Shifter on you. Yeah, generic negates were always cringe. There's a that level Synchro Dragon as well. The equipped Link monster, hopefully banned someday. Phantom Knights. Yeah, Darkmon. I play against Phantom Knights in finals. I do think that 50 card branded though is viable and very good. I just think that grass is so good. Like there's a reason why like the OCG and Master Duel every list runs grass in their list. I would keep your mind open or keep your options open and not just automatically write off grass. Because you saw even like with those subpar mills, I was still able to get the branded fusion plus Cartesia in graveyard, which just makes it so like all I need is a Quem. Like worse. You can change his shifter, says Jerry Luna. Yeah, exactly. What I said answered my question immediately after I asked. Yeah, Antax, what do you do if your opponent runs triple evenly matched in their main deck? How do you play around that? You go into Sanctifier. So basically, our best way to play around shifter in branded is to make Sanctifier. There are two different ways. You could also run the Blazing Branded King to play around shifter, which you can set off of things by putting like Albion the Branded Dragon into the graveyard by like tributing off with like Lubellion or sending off a Mirror Jade. And then this card in the end phase could just set Blazing Branded King. And then when your opponent uses Evenly Matched, and as long as you have a fusion monster that mentions Fallen of Albaz, you can flip this and then you negate the Evenly Matched, which is pretty good. You negate all your other monsters too, but it's an out for Evenly. I just think this is the way better out for Evenly because you're able to also give yourself a body, and it combines with the Gimmick Puppet lock, so you get to have a twofer. You play around evenly, and you play around the Gimmick Puppet lock, or you are able to lock your opponent. Also, if you don't want to lock your opponent, obviously, guys, I just released a non-Gimmick Puppet tutorial, and with help with Raul, shout out to Raul, guys. Hit him up on Twitter and on his Discord if you guys want 100+ lines of branded combo sheet, spreadsheet. Did you post the brand spreadsheet or just decide with the videos? What do you mean I love ghosts? I mean, we're going to have a spreadsheet. We're going to have a video on Raul's spreadsheet, like another updated guide. But if you guys want him up for a spreadsheet, he does have his socials that I linked on. How do you get to grass in the first place other than hard drawing or thrust? Well, I mean, you have lots of draw power, especially when you were running 60 cards. I think it's 100% correct to be running cards like duplication, like all these search cards, high spirits. On top of that, you should be running allure, and I run desires, so like you're probably going to draw into it one way or another, but the main or you're going to draw into thrust, right? So 50% of the time thrust is a way to grass is greener because it will be live going second. So I think that's a pretty good. You have 4 copies of Grass is Greener going second. You have 1 copy going first. So it's just like a really sacky one of going first. And you have 4 copies going second. So I think that's like a decent enough ratio. You run Fusion Deployment, which is a 3 of that's unsearchable off except for Thrust. So it's the same like reason why like it's just 3 more copies but going second. Brightest Blazing King does seem like a good counter. Yep. If like Sanctifier ever gets banned, that would be our only evenly out besides just running a hard Omni negate. Like Light and Darkness Dragon Lord is also an out because it's just a straight up Omni negate. So you could always consider that as well. And then you have things like Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, obviously. Thanks for subscribing, Jeremiah Cole. I do appreciate it. I do appreciate it. So congrats on the win at locals. Saw your video earlier, says Alejandro Benillo or Benilla. How's it going, bro? Nice to see you. Nice to see you again. I'd love to see you go full combo and leaving the best on board there. MetaGames the go. I appreciate it, Alejandro. Very flattering. Very flattering. Hope you're having a great day, bro. Do you have any events coming up? How's your branded list going? Would love to review it on deck list. I won't be I promise I won't roast yours too hard. No, I'm sure it's just great. Okay, thanks for answering, says Icarus. Yeah, no, I try to answer all the chats, guys. If I miss your chat, just type in the chat. Just don't spam it a bunch. Like, if I don't answer it for a few minutes, just try again in like 5 or 10 minutes, honestly, after like asking a couple times. Hear me out. Runic Branded, IDK random 60 pile. I remember Chris Lofton came in my Discord one day and he was like, Runic Branded is going to be the best deck ever. And The theory could be there, I guess, but because you can obviously just like puppet lock and make other really big guys. I don't know if it syncs up that well because those cards work so well with synchro cards. It definitely would be something to consider. You could also consider kashtira branded, which was another one of his funny ideas that he said, where you could just run like full kashtira engine plus branded cards because you don't need to go into the extra deck with the kashtira cards. You could set up like kashtira birth plus unicore plus fenrir. I'll have to take that to locals one of these days, right? Ugh. Branded is the 5 best deck in the mom. What's Prince XVI? Penguin. Sorry, did my question about what to play instead of grass is greener gets answered? Yeah, no. And if you're going off my deck profile, you should be running foolish instead of grass. It's not a great replacement, but it's, you know, it's another extender. It's another way to, you know, resolve branded fusion. I won 3rd place with the Runic White Forest. Congratulations, Lee Warrior. What does the deck look like? You should post it. Jerry Luna, how many Sinful Spoils Deceptions do you think best to run next format? Sinful Spoils Deception, if that is the fusion one, you only run 1, and if it's the search one, you run 3. And then you can run 3 wanted and like 1 or 2 witch. I think like 1 witch is probably what I'd be running, to be honest. Because you can just like spin it back with Lubellion. Ugh. Guys, make sure to leave a like on the stream, guys. Like I said, we are going to roast deck lists if we hit 30 likes on the stream. We're at 28 right now, so we're going to keep doing some combos. This is like the gassiest hand I've had in a minute. It plays through so many hand traps, and you guys have seen all these hands have been incredible, playing through multiple hand traps. So very good, very good. Not much has changed. I do love the 60 card, but we'll have a 50 card list out next if you guys do want to see that. So a hand like this, you don't start with high spirits, obviously. And a hand like this, we can't quite... I mean, we can play around Droll, so we start Shrouded Dragon, in my opinion. So we could automatically just... I think a lot of the time I've been... I mean, we do have the Saronir, so we just have to send the Retribution here. If we don't have the Saronir here, I'd actually probably just send Albaz, because I've been really regretting not sending Albaz a lot of the time post-ban list off of Shrouded, unless I have immediate access to Saronir. Then we can draw a card. Let's see what we get. Triple Tactics Thrust. Great, we're playing through another hand trap, guys. So we could get drolled, but let's just say we didn't get drolled. And at this point, I think we could go... TEARLAMENTS Shiren pitching the Tri-Brigade Mercourier. Mill 3. We got another Mercourier milled, which is kind of shitty, I'm not going to lie. But that's fine. And then we milled the Fusion Duplication. Wow. That's not great. But I think that overall... Maybe we should have waited for the Shiren. Oh, yeah. Is there a combo line where we could wait for Shiren? I'm trying to think. Because we could get to... I'm trying to think. Because if we could get to Cartesia before resolving Shiren, this might just be a better hand. So let's just take it easy. Let's just take it easy. Alright. Because Shiren's so random. I don't want, like, Shiren to actually, like, be the random part of it. It's really a lot better for the combo part of it. And for... I wish we could also run Rule Kalos. Because if you run Rule Kalos, this is, like, you can pitch it and then you can fuse, which is pretty cool, into, like, Mud Dragon or something. So... Yeah, no, I think on a hand like this, like I said, you just kind of end up... Yeah, I guess you kind of just have to start high spirits at that point. I think starting high spirits is probably the best. Yeah, you start high spirits and then you can go play from there. Because you could get Kit. I'm trying to think. It's either Kit or Cartesia. Cartesia can't quite get branded Retribution. The issue is getting branded Retribution now in the graveyard. So we could get Shrouded Dragon. Oh, no, we drew off a Shrouded Dragon, damn it. You know what, we're just going to reset the hand. It's botched. Judge, your YouTuber is cheating, Cap. Yeah, no, I just, like, I don't want to... It's probably a bad idea to show, like, randomness in that terms. Let's show you guys this Desires hand. This is actually a fun hand to show you guys how to play through to play with Desires. So if you have a clear line to branded fusion, you don't need to start with Desires. Like, let's just see what our top 10 would be milled. I'm not even saying we're gonna... Yeah, so, like, we would banish branded fusion off of this. So for, like, when you have a clear line to branded fusion, I through like a hand trap or two, I think it's probably just correct to end up doing that. So you could go Cartesia effect, or sorry, you could go normal summon Cartesia, pitch Lubellion. It doesn't happen all the time that you banish the Brand Fusion, but it's always something to consider. I just think it's way too good to have that +1. So at this point, we could obviously just go Cartesia, fuse off with the Saronir. Yeah, no, don't call the judge on me, please. We'll go Chainlink 1, Grand Guignol, Chainlink 2, Saronir. Chainlink 2 Saronir is going to end up sending, obviously, the branded Retribution. And then Saronir can end up sending the Shrouded Dragon. So this is just like, this is how you get to branded fusion nowadays, guys. It's just doing this, and then you can go Shrouded Dragon, send for cost. Sending the branded fusion, putting this to the bottom. And then we can shuffle. And if we had Albaz, and then we can go Retribution, get the branded fusion. We have Albaz in hand too, so we can actually just go Paw of Desires here, in my opinion, and just like play through the Ash if they want, because like we can force an Ash. Obviously, they know we have branded fusion, but like, you know, let's see what our banishes are here. Our banishes, oh, we banished Gimmick Puppet, so we're this is why it's important to not learn, or to learn how to play without Gimmick Puppet if you're playing Desires, because if you banish it. And now we get Grass and Called by the Grave, which Grass is you would think it conflicts a little bit with Desires, but it just allows you to have another extender. And since we're already like what, 20 cards down, I presume Grass is just dead, so it's going to be a dead discard at that point. But we now have Brand Fusion plus Called by, so that's just FTK. So we could just go Branded Fusion, Called by the frickin' Ash Blossom. Sending the Albaz, sending, of course, a Lubellion. Did we banish... I don't think we even banished Branded Lost, to be honest. Nope. So, I mean, this combo is a little awkward, because we could just end up searching... Yeah, no, we should do something a little different. We should get Tragedy here, because we have not normaled, so it's a lot better to go for Tragedy here. So now we can go for the Lubellion, the Searing Dragon, Chainlink 1. Discarding the Fallen of Albaz, playing around Bestial, Chainlink, or not even playing around Bestial, but still, just having another Albaz in graveyard is always a good thing. Chainlink 2 Tragedy. So Chainlink 2 Tragedy, what do we want to get? We can get either a Luber and then get a Branded in red, which we kind of already have, or we could get a Quem, which I think Quem is a little better here. Because Quem can revive Cartesia. It's kind of like whatever, like everything leads to the same road. Oh no, a Luber will get an extra body. We have to get a Luber. You need an extra body here, because so you can go for Branded Opening. And then Lubellion will spin back plus the Albaz. And now we have a Mirror Jade. And now we can go normal summon a Luber effect. We could just discard the dead Grass is Greener. So we were already going to have a discard. And now we can keep the... We can obviously keep the Droplet for Interruption. Branded Opening. Pitch Greener. Now we can special summon a Quem. I need to get the rest of my Starlight Alubers, guys. Or QCRs. And then we can go Quem effect. Quem at this point, we already have a Luber in Cartesia. So at that point, what else is there to send? We could send a Brandon in High Spirits, so we could get a card in the end phase if we want to, or we could get another Cartesia in the graveyard, or we could get also... We banished... Or no, we didn't. So we can get another Cartesia. It's a better send than High Spirits in that kind of situation. And... I don't know why... Did I go Albion? No, but we do have Lubellion in graveyard, so we did miss the Branded... loss window. I just feel like we get more... We already got rid of our Mercuriers. Or no, we didn't on this hand, so it's fine. And now we can go Mirror Jade effect, banishing the Aluber. So we can send the Titanclad. Obviously, you send and then banish the Aluber. And then you can go Quem effect. get the Cartesia, and then we can go into the end phase. Oh no, we aren't sending Titanclad. We're sending Albion because we already have Quem. You only send Titanclad if you don't already have the Quem, but that's why we went this route, so we could send the Albion and then we go end phase. We are able to get the branded and red into our spell and trap card zone. So we could have also just gone Lubellion off of branded fusion, to be fair. That would have been probably fine too, because then we get branded in red, or we get lost access, but we also don't get the Quem play with Cartesia here. And it gets us way more advantage, because then we can go Cartesia to hand. And then we have another discard. We have Droplet, we have branded red, and then we can pass it to our opponent. And then we can basically first action on main phase, go like Cartesia effect, make a... I mean, do we have another dark? We don't, unfortunately, have another dark. So if we had another dark here, I'd definitely make a Draco Stapelia. But what we could just do is go into this. Make another Grand Guignol effect. That could send the Adlib. If Grand Guignol sent Adlib here, that'd be crazy. I'm not going to lie, that'd be crazy. But we could just send follow-up at that point and then Quem Chainlink to target Mirjade. So we at least get the Mirjade back, and then we do have the branded in red for multiple banishes, and then the Grand Guignol plus Droplet, so that's probably usually enough. That was just an awkward... I mean, definitely was a hand. We had, like, only really one... You guys saw we were just on branded fusion there, so... It's not bad for just branded fusion. And then we would have had Gimmick Lock if we didn't have banish the Gimmick. And I think that's fine. We still play through, like, most boards with that much. Like, there's no like, you have to be on like 10 pipe board breakers to break that board. So oh dear god, I really don't want to mill 10 cards for my deck that will be lost forever. I mean, you have Despian Tragedy and you have Retribution, so you'll be able to get them back very easily. Wubo, or better question, what do you think the choke points are against Purrely? What's up, Meta? I just started to learn Purrely. What do you think the hardest thing is to play with branded against that? And to branded with against that? So you're asking for advice as a Purrely player against branded? I mean, I think just sitting on Noir is usually your play, right? Because it's really hard for them to out Noir, so you can slowly outgrind them if you just, like, keep the Noir on field and don't, like, threaten its unaffected nature, and also try to keep, like, stacking materials. They'll try to OTK you with Puppet, but you can if you just have, like, advantage over them when you set up the Noir, you're probably going to be fine. It's a tougher matchup for us, for sure. But if you just brick, like, we'll just blow you out. That's the issue. This is a crazy hand. So we have Branded Fusion in hand. So we're just going to go crazy with it. I think we can just do some fun stuff here. We do play around Droll. So I'm just going to go Lubellion. Lubellion just insulating more of our combos. We'll get the Saronir. And then we can go... If they chain Droll, we can chain the High Spirits. Then we go Allure, draw 2, draw another Allure. This is why we love Allure, guys. Banish the Albaz. And then we can go... I mean, do we go Allure Part 2? I think we do. Because we get... Yeah, we go Allure Part 2. Because we can just banish the Aluber. Banishing the Aluber. And now we can go Branded and High Spirits. I mean, at that point, we could also just go, like... Opening, but I don't think that's the play. Because I have Saronir. So we can go High Spirits, reveal the Saronir. Sending the Titaniclad. You always want to send Titaniclad to get the Quem in the end phase, unless you're going through like a Quem line to get your branded fusion. And then we can end up searching the Cartesia, which is going to be fun to do some plays with. And then we can go normal summon, or no, we can go Bestial Saronir on resolution. This is where actually Bestial Luber is really good, because this makes it so we can just special summon the Blazing Cartesia, but it's like just fine. We can just end up sending the Branded Retribution, which is almost just as good, right? So still just fine. Why have branded players been playing Furious Dragon? It's like one of our best ways to out stun decks. So, and now we can go normal summon Cartesia. At this point, we don't even need Branded Retribution because we have the fusion, so there's not a whole lot that we can search here. I mean, then if this gets Ash, we have Thrust, so we can then go into... We always go out, or we already have Lubellion in the graveyard, so we could obviously just send a Stellar or Cartesia. I'm currently not on a Stellar in this particular build, but we'll just, it would probably be a Stellar elsewise. Yeah, because a Stellar would revive herself and have some pretty spicy combos, so maybe we can put her back into the deck. Where is my Fallen of Albaz? I did not banish all of you guys. I just, like, crazy. There we go. Now we can go into the Albion. Chainlink 1 Albion. We play through Impermanent Ash because we have the Cartesia and the Thrust. Cartesia mainly insulating our plays really well, and then banishing the Fallen of Albaz, banishing the Saronir. This is just some cookie cutter branded right now. Lubellion Chainlink 1 pitch opening, fusing back Albaz and this guy, or the Lubellion, into the Mirror Jade. Starlight not required. And now we can just tribute the Albion here. Nib check our opponent, and then go Lubellion effect. Get the loss, and then we can go Cartesia effect, fuse off the Lubellion for Grand Guignol. That's why High Spirits is just such a broken card, guys. You need to be running that card at 3 right now. And this is why having, like, the dragons to be able to use it, plus, like, Allure is just so crazy. Like, we had such a gas hand. We played through literally, like, 3 or 4 hand traps with that hand. Grand Guignol 1, Brand Loss 2. We can search out our Mercurier, finally, play around the Nib, and then Grand Guignol at this point can send either Shrouded Dragon or... Because Quem is going to dump Albaz, but Shrouded Dragon would also get us another option with Retribution. And if you have something like Branded in white, that's kind of where you can send it off of there. I wish I could send Shiren somehow, but there's not a real method of doing that, so it's probably just sending the Gimmick Puppet. We do have the Retribution for follow-up too, which is really good. And then we only end on 4 cards in the main phase 2, but then we can obviously go main phase 3, aka the end phase, get the Cartesia back to hand, then go Titanic Lad, and get the Quem right there. Quem effect, send the Albaz. You need to get the Albaz. Oh, that's why we could have sent... Yeah, I think we need more Albazes in rotation, to be fair. That's why we could have just sent Albaz instead of Nightmare, to be honest, but it's fine. And then we can go Albion in the end phase in the graveyard, red Albion to set the Branded in red, of course. And then we can pass to our opponent. I think you obviously... You have the puppet in graveyard, but you might not even need to puppet your opponent with this kind of board. It was kind of really extra on top of everything. So you always wait for your opponent to play just in case they're on flu or something like that. So they can go like normal, or they can go like normal summon, Samsara Lotus, or like opening the Spirit Gates or something like that. And honestly, I would wait until they get a monster, because I think a lot of the time what your best play is to either wait for them to link off or to go into the extra deck when it's not going to be, when they're going into an extender. So if they're like into Marincess, they're going to go into their link 1 to search their field spell. Same with Salamangreat, or just like, you know, Snake Eyes needs to link climb, so they're not going into really anything too crazy with their 2 monsters on field. So that can automatically trigger the Quem, and then Quem could just revive herself or revive the Cartesia. But I think a lot of the time, if they summon a monster that threatens it, you just go Mirror Jade effect, sending for cost. Probably the Rinbrum, as long as you have another follow-up, but you could also just send more follow-up. Or if you had another Albaz, this would be really crazy. And then you can banish their monster, and then you can go Quem because a monster left the extra deck to target the Cartesia. Cartesia effect, fuse off the Mirror Jade, because Cartesia is a quick effect, and if your opponent, your opponent's not winning at this point, you can go then Grand Guignol 1, lost 2. And also, you could have just made a Stapelia too if you wanted to use the Mercurier, but if we had another Dark, you could have made a Stapelia there. And then we are going to search out, I guess we could search out just a Shrouded Dragon. And then I guess the Grand Guignol is going to send more follow-up, guys. That's crazy. We have so much follow-up, it's wild. One Albion, and then we can go branded in red. We do, or also you should chain branded in red in that chain. You should chain branded in red in that chain, by the way, because you could lose to a Bestial if you don't. So, because you don't have an Albaz on board while you're under branded loss protection. That's super, super, super important. Just remember to do that, guys. We will just banish the Cartesia and keep the Grand Guignol on board. And then go into the Shroud, and then go into the Sanctifier, and then Sanctifier can just chain. And they have to have a called by at that point. If they have a Bestial, they just get Mercuriered, so then you can just get the Mirror Jade back and then give them the Puppet. And also, even if you didn't even need to Puppet with this board, to be honest. You have the Mercurier, you have double Mirror Jade. You have a Stapelia. This should be a Stapelia, but we had no other Dark in rotation. And we have the Mercurier, and yeah, so it's really good. And also then we have the Branded in red, rather. So Branded red could have, instead of Sanctifier, could have just been a Borreload Furious, or it could have just been a Guardian Chimera. So that's always, you know, there's routes to these things. Like if they aren't on a deck, or if you bash the Gimmick Puppet, okay, great. Instead of going Sanctifier, you're going Guardian Chimera or Borreload, or, you know, whatever the game state kind of requires at that point. That's always what Branded is. It's a toolbox fusion deck. So Angra Mainu, nice to see you, bro. Let this man cook. How's it going? How's it going, my man? Can't wait to see what you've cooked up for this format, my brother. Law, can you get Branded Fusion back with Retribution once it's banished from Desires? No, you cannot. So that's why I say you should be doing... Shout out to the grass is greener right there. I'm stacking it, apparently. No, you cannot. You cannot really interact with cards that are banished face down. That's why it's so devastating. But I think that's why if you have a clear line to Branded Fusion, you should certainly take that line before going Desires. I just think Desires fixes a lot of brick hands. So I think that's why we're running it. It also allows us to go +2, +3, which is what you need. You still need 2 board breakers in hand to break a Yubel board, and Yubel is going to be the best deck. So you are going to have the ability to go to draw cards, essentially. So draw cards are very important still in Branded, in my opinion. Jam Buds, how's it going? Will you be doing a Branded Yubel list soon? That's what I'm working on. Yes, I would like to, honestly. I need to get some... I don't own Thrones, that's the issue. I'm like, not too much money right now. So, I don't own Thrones. I would have the deck, but I can cook something up on Dueling Book for you guys if that's what would work. I have my own Branded Yubel list that I test. I just don't have it in IRL. Josh Prince, how often do you brick with the 60 card list? So far, it seems low. Not at all. I have not bricked once with it, actually. With this build, I have not bricked once with it. This build in particular has only been alive for like 3 days. I've played a lot of games with it. This is not the build I ran on Saturday when I went to Heart of the Game and I went 2-2. I ran a list there that with Patchwork, and it was not very good. I was limit testing cards for the format, and I did the testing that was necessary to show that Patchwork is trash right now because everyone's on DD High King Caesar, and we can no longer use that as an extender for like High Spirits and Allure while going second and going first as a board breaker. So yeah, no, this list, I figured out the ratios. It's super good, super clean, guys. I've only changed, like I said, like Saronir from Bestial Lure to Saronir. That's like the one change I think I have to the deck from the actual deck profile. And that's just because I think Saronir in hand will increase your hands that you can actually play the game. Saronir is just such a good card to see because if you have Allure, if you have High Spirits, those are just essentially like almost full combo, or just at least like enough, card advantage to get you going. Speaking of holy... So yeah, this is why we love Allure too, because if you end up banishing the second Mercurier or like the second Tragedy, which I've been debating on running 2 Tragedy and instead of 2 Mercurier, but you just need the 2 Mercurier. Like 2 Mercurier comes up. Like, am I just spitting facts or am I laying on deaf ears? Like, second Mercurier comes up for me almost every game that it's not just Gimmick Puppet or just like, you know, like I have to use one on my turn, then I have to use one on my opponent's turn. It's crazy. Is Desire, if Desire Brand Infusion, what do you mean long? How's it going long? Prince XVI, I think you need to play Brandon White now that because Brand Fusion is at 1. That's why I was like thinking too that we could maybe even tech in Brandon White. It's just like the issue is bricking on that card going first. Is kind of tough sometimes. But I do think that that Brandon White, like my man Marat, shout out to Marat, the branded goat. I do think that it's something that we should definitely entertain this format. Because we have 1 less branded fusion, so I feel like it's not a bad replacement. Now cash branded is something I would like to see. Can someone drop a list if they have on deck lists on servers Anaki? I do have it on my own. I actually have a branded cash list on Dueling Book I can show you guys. We did hit 30 likes, guys, so we will be roasting deck lists. We're gonna do a few more. We're gonna do a few more test hands. Let's get this video to 50 likes now. 50 likes on the live stream, would appreciate that. Show your guys' support. It helps with the algorithm, gets the stream out. Let's try to hit 100 viewers on the stream tonight. That'd be crazy, right? Let's get back to those 3 digits. I just love streaming. It's great interacting. It's the best kind of way to it's the best way to do YouTube, because it's a lot better when you're actually like interactive with your community. And you know, I appreciate you guys give me everything. So I currently am not trying that hard to come up with the best build, mainly because I won't go to Lil, plus I'm grinding hard at Worlds. Oh, you're not going at Lil? That's totally, or hard at work, not Worlds. That's totally understandable, brother. Exact. And plus this format only lasts a month. So I think that is something that we unfortunately kind of have to deal with. Another imaginary format. It's another Edison format, essentially. So maybe we'll go back in like 10 years and play this as a Time Wizard format. And this format's not looking bad. It's looking like Fire King and Yubel are the best decks, and then everything else is about the same. like generally. Furious Dragon is one of our best cards, though. Jam Buds, perhaps 2 Retribution in the grass list. That's something that Salty Fry, or I think Yuri Diaz, shout out to another branded goat, Yuri Diaz. He suggested that to me immediately upon seeing the grass ban, where like that would be a really good mill. So I think that's certainly something we consider. Or like Branded Sword is pretty good. That's a pretty good mill too. I think we could consider things like Black Goat Laughs too, and like I said, Shadal Dragon and Beast. Do you think Branded Fusion, do you think Branded will get the Master Duel treatment in TCG? No. They're a little different formats, so I think Branded being as good as it is in best of 1 formats means that Master Duel has to hit it extra hard. So that's why like Expulsion's banned and stuff like that. I mean, Expulsion's banned over here still too, so it's not like Branded's unhit. Branded has 2 hits on the ban list. Sir Master, is the triple tactic so useful? I have not much money. You could run Cross Out instead. You just have to run like a slight hand trap package and play the deck a little differently in terms of just like, because Thrust is a board breaker, so you're gonna have to make sure you have ways to play second. And like Thrust searches your board breakers plus it searches your engine, so it's just like definitely not a card you can replace. But there's also people like Victor who tops a lot in Europe and other stuff. You know, he runs Cross Out and stuff Thrust and swears by it, and I've seen other lists of people running, you know, Cross Out or no Thrust and still topping regionals. So it's not like it's impossible. It's a little harder. All right. Let's do this hand. Let's do this hand, guys. Okay, Fallen of Albaz, Mercurial Allure, deployment. We want to play around Droll as much as possible. I think we want to thin our deck too, so we go deployment, reveal Grand Guignol. Get the Cartesia. And now we can obviously just go Allure of Darkness. And draw 2. And now we are going to banish the Mercurial effect to then get us to the... This is why you have to run Spriggan's Kit now. So you search out the Spriggan's Kit. Wait, where's my Spriggan's Kit? Where are you, Kit? Search the Kit. Normal subbing Kit. Play around Imperm because of Cartesia. You also play around Imperm Valor because you have the Thrust. So, or Triple Tactics, Talents, and Thrust. So, and then you can go, so not bad at all. So, Spriggan's Kit effect, search out the one, or we don't search out the one of Branded Fusion. Guys, in this situation, if you have a Dark Dragon and you have a Luber or Spriggan's Kit, you are searching out Branded and High Spirits instead of the Branded Fusion, because I'll show you guys why. This is how you play around Ash Blossom a lot. Even if we have ways to play around Ash Blossom, you still do this because you generate so much more advantage. Now you go High Spirits. Send the Albaz, and if they Ash you here, they are the best player ever. This is a choke point that no one will ever hit, because traditional... common knowledge is to Ash the Branded Fusion. And if it's not a very good player, they're going to Ash Blossom your Luber. So it's like your High Spirits is never getting Ash Blossomed unless you're going against someone who tops a YCS. I guarantee it. Who tops YCSs. So then we pitch the Fallen of Albaz. Of course, once again, getting the Titaniclad into the graveyard so he can have access to the Quem in the end phase. And then get the Spriggan's Kit. Spriggan's Kit effect. Get the... Now you can get the... And this is also how you play around Ash, because if they Ash you, now you get the Quem in the end phase. And then... or you could, like, obviously send Albion if you're, like... If you really project the Ash Blossom. Where's my Branded Fusion? It's so annoying going through 60 cards looking for the one of Branded Fusion. I cannot lie about that. And now we can just put back, I guess, Albaz, since we already have a Albaz in the graveyard. Now we can go Branded Fusion. Obviously, this hand plays around Ash, but if he Ashes it, we can just go Quem in the end phase, send Albaz, and then Cartesia can play around everything and do everything we need to do whatever we want. So we can go Branded Fusion. We'll just go full ham here. Sending the Fallen of Albaz. We could also send... We could do something spicy and send Shiren if we want, but there's not a great hand for it. It's not a great hand for this. So I think instead we are going to do the Branded... It's always Branded Lost. Branded Lost is just like one of our best cards. There's no reason not to. And this is also why you should be running 2 Tri-Brigade Mercurial. You kind of just need the second bird. And then you can go Chainlink 1 Albion, play around the Imperm because of Cartesia. And then you can ban... I don't know why I'm looking at my deck. You can banish the Albaz plus the Kit, because you don't want to banish the second Albaz because you want to keep it in the graveyard for a Rinbrum play later, or if they stop your Titanclad later. And then you can go into the Lubellion. Lubellion 1, discard for cost at this point. If you're debating between Talents and Thrust in terms of discard, it's always probably Talents, because Thrust will get you deployment if they do anything at this point, and Talents is really only good for ripping, hand ripping at this point. So, and now you can shuffle back the Lubellion plus a banished Fallen of Albaz to keep your 1 Fallen of Albaz in the graveyard, which will be very important later. Then we can go into our Mirror Jade, and at this point you can just tribute over the Albion if there's nothing there, and then go into the Bestial Lubellion. Then you can go Bestial Lubellion effect to activate a continuous branded spell or trap card from your deck, of course. And which other... And I've actually been debating... I've tested a little bit with Branded Beast this format. I think Branded Beast is actually a pretty viable card to be running, especially it's another way to... Like, if you're playing Desires and you end up banishing your Branded Fusion, it's another way to, like, put up more interruptions very easily. Also, it's, like, a good thing to... plays well with milling Lost, because you can reset Lost off of it if you activate it off of Lubellion or something. And then you can go Cartesia effect to fuse off with the Lubellion. And here you can go into the Grand Guignol, and then you can go Chainlink 1, Grand Guignol, Chainlink 2, Branded Lost to get our second Mercurier. This is why I just cannot drop the second Mercurier, guys. I love banishing one off of the Allure, off of the Gold Sark, and then I love and we could have Branded Sword, to be fair, but I just think the second one's just too good. It's great hard opening it too, because you can just banish it too. And then Grand Guignol, obviously we already have Albion and Titanclad, so at this point you either send the Adlib or you send the Gimmick Puppet. So you could do Adlib or Gimmick Puppet at this point, depending on what you're running. I don't quite recommend Adlib right now, though, with Gimmick Puppet, but Adlib would be really cool here, too. I won't lie, I think Adlib, like, I might just want to start maining Adlib so I can just, like, not, like, pity my opponents at locals a little bit more instead of just doing, like, Gimmick Locks, but, and then we can go into the end phase, go into the order of operations in the end phase. You want your opponent to, you probably go Titaniclad first. You don't, actually no, what you want to do is you want to get Cartesia to hand, because you're going to go Titaniclad. You always want to keep a Cartesia in graveyard. However, if you have a way to get the second one, you can always just go Quem, send the second one. And then now you have a Cartesia in graveyard, since you already sent the Fallen of Albaz earlier in the turn, so you don't have to send Fallen of Albaz off of Quem here, which is typically what Quem is doing. 65 people watching. Pregwin, what should I use if I don't have that Grasslook screener? I mean, Foolish Burial, stuff like that. Just like another extender. That was illegal, my man. What was illegal about that? How was any of this illegal? I'm sorry. I'm very confused. I'm not going to interrupt my combo for someone who doesn't know what they're talking about. My bad. So now Quem sent the Cartesia, and then I'll go Albion in the end phase. Branded in red. And now we do still have a live Mirror Jade, and we can obviously go the Albion to, or no, we already did. We got the Brandon red, and we can pass to our opponent. We have so much follow-up, and then obviously it's kind of like the same kind of game. You kind of just try to bait them going into their extra deck, or you can bait the Grand Guignol, because Grand Guignol could always banish itself to go into Blazing, because this happens a lot, where you could just go into the Despian Quertus, use Kit twice. I did not use Kit twice. Or am I using? Yeah, oh yeah, no, I was... Oh, okay, whatever. Yeah, no, I guess we did do that illegally. That's why I can't be... Yeah, that's fine. We'll redo the combo, but that's fine. We'll do a new combo. I wasn't even paying attention, to be honest. Did I do... How did I use Kit twice? I don't know. I just wasn't paying attention. I was slash... Yeah, it's fine. 25th anniversary tin dueling mirrors does have triple tactics thrust, so it might lower the cost of the card, but as cards like Quem, Grand Guignol, Despian Lulu, that tin releases the 19th. Don't disturb the combo, says Revelation. Yeah, no, it's, I mean, to be fair, I probably shouldn't be reading chats during the middle of the combo, so I like lose my train of thought. It's kind of like in Dueling Book when you get judge called, and then like it's very common that like you'll just misplay immediately after waiting an hour for the judge call, because like you just had your mind elsewhere. So my bad on that, guys. Yeah, no, there's nothing else to really read. Brand Fusion to 1. It's only lasts a month. Yeah, I don't know. Do you think Brand Fusion will get the Master Duel? Yeah, no, I read that. Really hope they do not touch my precious White Dragon next list. I don't think they will. I think it will be banning Gimmick Puppet. They already did that. Like, why wouldn't they just ban Gimmick Puppet? They haven't banned Sanctifier on any of the other platforms, so it's fine. Have you considered adding Light and Darkness Dragon Lord? Oh, sorry, Angra. I didn't even see it was you either. But Metropax, have you considered adding Light and Darkness Dragon Lord? Yeah, no, I mean, I've talked about it in my deck profile. It's a good option. It's like either that or Dracostapelia. It's just like, it's a bit more difficult to run the Light and Darkness Dragon Lord because it's a lot easier to make Dracostapelia and, I don't know. This card's a lot better though, and it plays through Shifter a little bit better, but with one branded fusion, sometimes I'm like, is it easier to make though? Like, maybe there's a reason why the OCG doesn't run it exactly with one branded fusion, but we'll see. I do think that, yeah, no, I just need to start. It's just like dueling book, guys. I can't be talking to chat during the combos, but deployment on this hand because we want to play through revealing Grand Guignol. We want to play through Imperm, get the Cartesia. He plans to play Master Duel tonight. I'm probably down to do that because I'm kind of getting bored of combos now, so we'll probably do deck lists and then or I want to review the locals gameplay too, and then we will also do deck lists too. So going to Cartesia, and now we can go into normal summon kit effect, getting the, oh yeah, that's why literally that combo was the same though. All it did was send Gimmick Puppet instead of sending it on my opponent's turn. That was the only difference there, though. So, like, that combo was still just, like, fine. Like, you would have just searched out, like, a Shrouded Dragon or whatever, but it's fine. One High Spirits, and then High Spirits effect. Or, no, sorry, we aren't getting High Spirits here. We are getting Branded Fusion. See, that's exactly what happened again. I just got to focus on the combo. Branded Fusion. Then we have to set a card back to our deck. We'll just do the dead. Or no, we don't need to do Shrouded Dragon here. We could do Mercurier. Brand Red's not bad too. Damn, these are all really good options. I guess putting back Mercurier isn't the worst. And then we could go Shrouded Dragon effect, send for cost. We'll get another Albaz since we have red in hand already. So if we have red in hand already, it's always good to set up Albaz. And then put that to the bottom, draw a card. We get the thrust. Cool. Branded Fusion. Lubellion. Into Albion. And then Albion effect, banishing one of the Albazes, like I said, because you don't want to... You want to always have two Albazes really in rotation, because you always banish one off of Branded in red most of the time. Then you want one for like a Rinbrum follow-up, especially if you get like hand-trapped or something like that. One Lubellion, discard for cost, thrust. Because at that point, you really don't need it. Fuse back the Albaz. Yeah, no, sorry about that, Angara. Just like, because like lately there's been so many new people to the channel. I've just been really short with like people who are not being serious with their comments. And like, I should have, if I saw that was you, I would have realized you were coming from a good place. Brian Neris, do you prefer one a stellar over third cart? I mean, it just depends. So... Tribute Albion. Oh, wait. Why don't I have another Albaz? Oh, yeah, no. This one should... This Albaz should be in the graveyard. I don't know why I banished Albaz twice. This Albaz should be in the graveyard since I fused it. Yeah, I spun it back to the top already. So... Tribute the Albion for the Bestial Lubellion. I was like, there should be an Albion or a Albaz in the graveyard. Then we can go Lubellion effect. And then we can go Cartesia effect. And we can go Grand Guignol 1, Brand Lost 2. See, this is why I don't love Lad all the time. Like, it is really nice, though, in a build when you're running 3 Lubellion, though, I won't lie. Give the Mercurier, and then Grand Guignol. can just end up sending the Titaniclad here, which is, this is the same exact line that we were just doing essentially. And then we do have the branded in red here if we want to as well, which is pretty interesting. Or also, what am I doing? Grangwick. It should have been Titaniclad. See, if we had another body, though, I would definitely go branded in red here. I'm not going to lie. But there's no other really good target. So we could just set branded in red, go end phase, go Titaniclad effect. Guiding Quem effect to send the... We already have Cartesia and Albaz in the graveyard, so we could just get another Cartesia. So we have another light spellcaster in rotation. That's always a good thing, especially when you're like going for the lock or just needing a light or follow-up. And then Cartesia to hand from the graveyard. And then you can go Albion effect since we already have the branded in red. Since we hard drew it, that's one of the nice parts about running two. You can just... Then you can end up searching something like a branded in high spirits, or even better, you can end up setting the branded retribution as another target. You know, it's always good to set up your lines if you already have the red to then end up setting the retribution, because your board is extraordinary at that point. You have an Omni negate, summon negate, and the retribution. Then you have one Mirror Jade, you have Quem, you have Grand Wignall plus Lost on top of Mercurier. Like, no one's breaking this board whatsoever. So it's definitely something that we can then just go give it to our opponent. Let's just say they go normal summon, or I mean, that's kind of a bad example. They go against Samsara Lotus. I go Mirror Jade effect because that forces the Samsara since it doesn't target. That's my favorite part about Mirror Jade. We send the Rinbrum because we do have the extra... Oh, we should have sent the extra Albaz instead of the Cartesia. Oh, well. Yeah, we should have sent Cartesia, or Albaz instead of Cartesia for the Rinbrum, but that's fine. Just remember that. Banish whatever comes out after that. He probably still summons the Spirit, but it's fine. And then it gets banished, and then you can go Quem effect. Get the Cartesia effect. Fuse off the, I guess, Mirror Jade and herself. Grangoyle. And it's just kind of like... Just basically like repeat. And at that point, honestly, though, you kind of have to also chain branded in red because you also have to have something online for the Mercurier. So then you can just banish Albaz plus the other Grand Gwig, or probably... Yeah, we went over this last time. It's Albaz plus the Cartesia in hand. It's like the same line exactly. For the Grand Wignall, or sorry, for the Sanctifier. And then we search a Shrouded Dragon, which would be real. If we had Lubellion on board, we make a lad here too, which is unfortunate. Like, I wish we had a Lubellion in hand or on field because we make lad instead of the second Grand Wignall. Or sorry, yeah. So, Grand Wignall is just gonna end up sending the puppet, obviously. I wish there was like a tier name that I could send that would like actually fuse off of Grand Wignall. It would make Grand Wignall so crazy. And then we can just chain to the Sanctifier targeting puppet. And then we still have Grand Wignall. We still have Retribution if they have the Bestial plus Mercurier. This is just like an unbreakable board. Also, you just summon Mirror Jade back for another banish. So very good, very good. Revelation, 50 card is uber based. It's why I run in my budget build. Yeah, I think 50 card is cool. Do you think his 50 card is still good? I mean, I think it's still good. I just think 60 is just as good, if not better. Just to have that edge. We might go to 50 card. Like, 50 card if you don't want to run Desires, probably. I just think that Grass is so good, too. So you need to run... If you want to run Grass, you need to run 60 cards, right? Wow, we had a bunch of people join the Discord. Appreciate it, guys. You run Super Poly? No, I don't run Super Poly right now. I have tested it a lot, though. 50 car. I also want to see what you can do with branded TEARLAMENT deck. I might be dumb, but I really wanted to see that concept. I actually have a list that I definitely will make a video on eventually alongside. Just like, I guess if you want to really see the kashtira branded list. It's such an abomination. It's just another standard. I want to kind of like do some Shiren lines because you can do cool stuff with Shiren if you, but it's all like circumstantial. You have to really just like, they aren't like combos, right? Like she's just like a really nice piece. She's an extra way to fuse. She's an extra way to spin back your fusions. She just kind of does everything. So we are at how many likes? We can probably start roasting deck lists. I mean, there is the locals gameplay that I wanted to show you guys as well. So we could start watching that if you guys want. So I can go over my finals because my finals is really fun. It was really cool. So let's do that. Let's do that. All right. So that's the wrong one. How's it going? How's it going? All right. So I'm gonna probably have to speed this up. Where's the video speed? Playback speed. Yeah, okay, here we go. So this was the finals at my locals, guys. So very exciting, of course. I was going against my man Figs Form on YouTube. Check him out. He makes great content around branded, and I mean he mainly does Phantom Knights at this point, to be fair. So but he's incredible duelist. It's actually almost a rematch too, because if you remember that OTS I got top 4 at, I ended up losing to him in top 4. So this was definitely definitely had, I guess it was a fateful kind of duel. It was one of those cool just rival duels. Not really. He's a really good player. He's top YCSs without Puppet on branded. Very good player. And I'm on my 60 card build here, as you guys see, with my Spellground. I did not stream this. I wanted to stream this, but I figured we could also get some offline recordings, of course. And I end up winning die roll, so that's definitely something that you like to see. He gets a 5. I end up getting a 9, and that is what it is. And this is going to be game 1. And I draw Gimmick Puppet, I draw Shrouded, I draw Fusion Deployment, or High Spirits, and I have 2 other spells in hand. It's one of those hands where I definitely could get drolled and things could be in trouble a little bit, but for that reason, I was kind of thinking out the hand. I was like, well, you have to kind of do your sacrifices and like do your pick and chooses. So I just go for Shrouded Dragon. I'm like, if he has droll, he has droll. I could chain also the Shrouded, or I could chain High Spirits here too. Do a little trick shot, because of course when you go Shrouded Dragon, it's sending for cost, and a lot of the time you just want to end up sending the Albaz here because you can just be able to combo off with the Albaz in graveyard. Like I mentioned before, just having another Albaz in rotation is super important. So yeah, very good. And now of course we do here. I'm gonna pause this for 1 second. 1 second, guys. 1 second. Putting this over in my other window. All right, and we are going to do deck list roasting after this, so make sure, please, post your deck list in my Discord, exclamation point Discord, so I can roast your post-ban list, Yu-Gi-Oh deck list. I'll help you guys out with your deck building and give you guys some suggestions while doing some friendly roasting. So we got the kit off of the High Spirits here, of course, and now I can go... at that point, I'm just going to be able to go special summon Kit, because I do have a Fallen of Albaz fusion in graveyard. And then I go Spriggan's Kit effect. We're going to get the branded fusion. This is why High Spirits is so good. It's just another way to branded fusion, and you wouldn't be able to do any of this without the Spriggan's Kit in this kind of scenario. So definitely Very happy that I was able to get that. And then I go Branded Fusion. And he is not able to respond to that. But I do have the... I'm debating on... Oh, yeah. What am I even debating on at that point? Oh, yeah, no. Okay, so I was putting something to the bottom. And now I do have the Branded Lost in hand. That was one of the other spells. So we aren't going to have to go down the Lubellion line necessarily. But I think I still do, because I could have done the Tragedy line here. I haven't normal summoned here. I just thought it was a lot safer because we already have a Titanclad in the graveyard to just get our Branded Lost on board, all things considered. So that's what I'm going to end up doing here. Oh no, I do something spicy here. Yeah, no, I'm debating. I'm like, I can go Shiren here. I do the spiciest line of like all time. I go Fallen of Elbaz and I send Shiren. So this end board is going to be actually sick as hell. I go Lubellion 1, discarding the Gimmick Puppet. Lost 2. Lost is going to search out the Cartesia because I have yet to normal summon. And then Shrouded Dragon is going to be able to... and then Shiren is going to activate as Chainlink 2 as well. So Shiren's going to be able to fuse back itself and another card. So I'm going to debate on what to fuse here. There's a lot... Because, like, Shiren's such a generically good extender that at this point, I'm like... I think I end up going into... Oh, yeah, I know why I go into. So I spin back herself. Oh, yeah, I spin back herself and the Lubellion for the Stapelia. And then I spin back for Lubellion, the Shrouded Dragon, and the Albaz in Graveyard. And then I go into Borreload Furious. So I end up ending on Stapelia plus Borreload plus Cartesia. And then Cartesia effect gets to... go out into Grand Guignol, and then Grand Guignol effect is going to send out the Albion. So I have Stapelia plus Boral plus Puppet plus Albion plus Titanclad in Graveyard. So I basically have and now I'm getting Quem, so I have a full board. I didn't even end on the Albaz Fusion Monster. It's kind of neat. Obviously, this kind of loses to Nib, but obviously he would have Nib checked me before, and also I still play through it with how many cards are in Graveyard, since I open Branded and High Spirits. High Spirits, while it also plays around Ash, it also plays around Nib, so I'm also going to use Albion in the end phase to get the Branded in red, and this is going to be a grinder of a game 1, guys. You guys see I have basically a gimmick lock going. He goes Fateful Adventure. I'm letting him play the game. This is one of those examples of what I was saying before, where you have to let them play the game. And he ends up getting the pitching the Water Enchantress, and then Water Enchantress effect is going to go off to banish, and then Water Enchantress is going to be able to end up getting a Rite of Erismere. At this point, I'm like, I can let him still play because he's already using cards, so like his hand's going down. I can make him use more of his hand, and I already have multiple interruptions, so like, but oh no, I go Branded Red here, so I do go Branded Red. I'm like, I could just... Yeah, you know, at this point, I'm like, I'm gimmick locking him. He already has a card on field. I'm playing around Imperm. So I go Brand Red, make the Sanctifier, Chainlink 1 Sanctifier, because I obviously have the gimmick lock. So I can go Chainlink 1 Sanctifier, Chainlink 2 Brand Lost to get the Mercurier. So this is a foolproof gimmick lock. Then I get the Gimmick Puppet plus the Albion just for another big body, since I can revive then the Cartesia off of the Quem, since Quem was able to trigger since Sanctifier was summoned. I get the Mercurier. So, and now he's going to get out the Draco back. He's actually going to try to play this out, which is kind of interesting, because certain decks can play through Gimmick Puppet. I'm not sure if Famnites is going to be one of them, because you are able to use their trap cards to make Gimmick Puppet like undestroyable, which you guys will see. It kind of becomes a strategy. So, I mean, I respect Figs too, because he is a player that I feel like could definitely think out any situation. So I definitely respect the ability to take your cards, because he does have 6 cards in hand at this point. This is why I kind of went Gimmick Lock. Like, if he has a lot of gas to be able to play through my board. Otherwise, I mean, I do have a really good board. I could have obviously went into Mirror Jade at that point as well, instead of Sanctifier, which would have been another banished, plus Stapelia plus Mercurier, which probably would have been enough for that kind of hand anyway. And so at that point, he's going to be big thinking. He's going to set 3 cards, and he's going to set 4 cards, actually. No, he's going to set a monster. No, he decides not to, and then ends up passing turn to me. And I do have the Borreload Furious Dragon, obviously, so this is going to be something I'm kind of waiting on here. Borreload Furious is amazing for a game state like this, where you're going against, like, Runic Stun, and you gimmick lock them, and then they're, like, signing a bunch of cards. It's like, okay, I'm going to pop 2 of your back row before you even resolve anything. So at that point, I'm going to go Borreload, or no, I also have Cartesia effect to use in the end of main, so I'm just going to use Cartesia effect so I can get the Albion into the graveyard. Also, so I can get Cartesia back in the end phase, plus the High Spirits in my graveyard, so that's a lot of advantage. I feel like there's no reason not to at that point. So I can go Grand Guignol, sending the Alba Lunatus to then get out the Fusion deployment, which I think I'm going to actually, funny enough, not remember to search. So don't roast me in the chat, guys, too hard. And then I'm going to target the Grand Guignol in the middle back row to pop his middle back row, which is one of the swords, so it's a pretty good hit. I guess overall, but and then I draw for turn. I get the High Spirits back to hand plus the Cartesia, and at this point I'm looking to try OTK him, but he does have 2 back row, and I should probably be looking to do a Borreload or a Guardian Chimera play here, but I need to get more expendable bodies at that point, so I need to be able to, you know, get more normal summons, get like an Aluber on board. So at this point I'm just like, I'll go Gold Sark, which will get me the bodies I need to attempt to get a Guardian Chimera on board to pop his back row. That's just kind of what you have to do in a situation like this. I'm going to go Tragedy into the Aluber. And my man is, or then I'm going to, I have a huge graveyard too. No Albaz though. And I do have a Aluber plus an Albaz in hand, I believe that was. No, Mercurier in High Spirits. Yep. So now I go normal summon the Cartesia. Droplet is nice to prevent responses with each type of branded card having graveyard effects. I completely agree. And now I'm going to go into Masquerade off of the Cartesia and then proc the branded Lost, which is going to get me a Shrouded Dragon, which gets me even more advantage. Now I can get branded Retribution into rotation, get back to branded Fusion, of course. This is going to be very important with one branded Fusion, obviously. You're always going to have the Retribution rotation to recur it or a Tragedy, worst case. So now I have the Tax Dragon up, which is going to put more pressure on him. At this point, I'm just going to go into battle phase. I should probably wait on the pop for Boral here, but but no, I don't. I shotgun it, which is really bad. So I didn't realize that I just played this completely bad. So he goes Blade, essentially targeting Gimmick Puppet. I'm not able to strike now, which ends up being a turn skip. He does take 600 from Masquerade, but you guys see I am a little rusty versus Phantom Knight. Excuse the pun, a little rusty Bardiche against Phantom Knights, because I should have just waited, because if I just chained the Borreload to his sword, I would have been able to attack through the puppet and win. But at this point, we're going to get into a little bit of a grind. I do have the red, which gets me a Luber. At this point, this is also probably a misplay. I mean, because I'm going to the Guardian Chimera off of the Stellar in my hand, and destroy the back row. I mean, it's a minor misplay. It's not even a misplay really, given the board state, because I'm able to destroy his 2 back row and get the sword off board, which means he has only 1 more sword to potentially kind of do this little trickery with. But obviously, if I just chain Boral to the sword, it would have just been fine. So Phantom Tax Knights. Droplet is nice. Yeah, that bending. Ouch, that hurt to watch. What do you mean that bending? Did I bend my cards there? Is there a reason that you're running Droplet over Dark Ruler no more? Is it because we want our graveyard triggers, or is that a quick play? What will the new Maxi Purrely a hand trap change for Brandon, or do we cross out with Ash? That's certainly something we can do. So he's going into King Sark to pitch stuff and start getting names into the graveyard, which is going to get Tax Dragon effect. And he's going to search another sword, set 2. And would you guys guess if I end up hitting the sword correct this time? I guess you guys will be surprised. It'll be a fun little thing. And yeah, I get the Chimera to graveyard so I can get my Cartesia and the High Spirits to hand. And yeah, no, I'm a little rough with my cards a little bit, but also those sleeves were a bit curved already, so they just weren't good for my cards. I normal summon the Bestial Luber, and I'm going to then go Boral, target the back row, and I obviously hit the wrong back row. And so that's going to mean we are going to wait for another turn. So really, this game only lasted so long because of my own misplaying, but he's going to then sword, which is fine, targeting the gimmick puppet. And then I'm going to be able to target the... Oh, yeah. So I'm going to just target the gimmick puppet with Boral Load because with the sword, gimmick puppet is still going to be able to be destroyed. So I'm going to just target the Cartesia plus the gimmick puppet. He's just going to scoop it up from there, and then we're going to go into game 2. How do I get into the Discord? You press !Discord in the chat, and it will give you the invite link. There's also always links to all my socials in the description of all my videos if you guys want to check out all my socials and ways to connect with the community or support the channel. At this point, I'm looking to side hella board breakers because he's going to try to set up a huge board that I'm not going to be able to play through. So I don't have Nibiru either, but I mean, he's playing Adventure, so like he's probably going to play around the Nibiru no matter what, unfortunately. I'm siding in Lightning Storms. I'm going to side in Evenlies. I mean, he does have Omni Negates in the form of the Griffin Rider, but having multiple board breakers will be able to break probably any board. And you guys see, I already told him like I had oversized sleeves, so I'm just going to skip this. I had to change my sleeves quickly. And that first game, funny enough, that first game took 20 minutes. That first game took, I know it was sped up, but I feel like my opponent probably should have scooped earlier, just because like he said he was waiting for the droplet. He said he could have outed it if he had droplet, but I'm not sure if that was necessarily true. So I just it was one of those situations where we're going to end up going to time because the game one took so long. I don't think the game one needed to take as long as it did. Like, once you've been gimmick puppeted, unless you're playing, like, Labyrinth or, like, you have the God Hand, I feel like it's not timely to play it out given the time rules. Like, you're just going to end up running into time. And so he's going to go Speedroid Terratop, special summon, search the Takatomborg, and Takatomborg is going to get special summoned, and he's going to lick off the Takatomborg for something. He said he's big thinking too right here, so like I guess he had a really, really awkward hand, but he makes it work. He goes into the Cherubini, and he has the so he has Lurie in hand. I see it as kind of an awkward hand already when you don't want to really be drawing the Fabled Lurie that one of. So I'm going to skip ahead a little bit just so we can get through the big thing. So he's going to go Cherubini effect. I let him do the big thing. Like, because when a good player says I need a big thing, there are actually legitimately like really pro players that are really good at the game that will take like really long to think, and then they're just like super quick about it. And that's kind of what happens here. So he just need to think out all of his lines. I respect that. So he ends up sending the Water Enchantress off of the Cherubini to get the Rite of Aramasir, summon the token, and he is then going to search out the Fateful Adventure. Fateful Adventure effect is going to then obviously be able to search him out more or get more advantage. But he normal summons the Fable Lurie, then he gets the Draco back. And at this point, he's going to then go into the Fiendsmith's Requiem by linking off the Lurie and then get into the Requiem. And then, so that's why it was so awkward. And then he's going into Necroquip. Necroquip, link off the Cherubini into the Rusty Bardiche. Rusty Bardiche effect is going to be able to get a Phantom Knight Speller Trap, I believe, or is it Monster? No, he's going to bin one and then set a sword. And he already has the Griffin Rider on board for the Omni Negate, which is really good for him. He's setting up a really good board at this point. And with time being an issue, I'm debating on scooping at this point because there's like almost like 18 minutes left. Like you can see me looking at the clock, actually probably like every 30 seconds because I'm just making sure that I can have enough time to go to game 3. Like my hand is double fusion deployment, like Albaz plus like double shrouded. It was a really awkward hand. And no, and so at that point, he does pass on that, so he plays it actually fairly quickly, so I did appreciate that. IP Masquerena goes out. He has a really good board. Griffin Rider plus an effect negate. And then, obviously, the Rusty is going to be able to trigger off the IP and pop a card, so it's lots of interruptions on that board, plus he has three cards in hand. I go Fallen of Albaz, trigger to try to see what he does, because if he does the wrong thing, this would have allowed me to win the game, but because he goes sword here, that basically plays through everything I could do because I have a super weak hand. Like I said, I have like double deployment, shrouded, like Albaz. It's not very good. I even think I have Shrouded Dragons. So at this point, I'm going to go fusion deployment. And at that point, I'm just going to scoop because he's going to be able to. Yeah, no. The sword was kind of backbreaking there. My hand was really mid, so we're just gonna have to deal with that one at that point. How do I get into the Discord? Ouch, that hurt to watch. Join Discord community. Just draw the Outbros as Revelation in an OTS championship against mirror match. I drew the called by and used it on Puppet. That's some king energy that I masqueraded for time. That's crazy. All right, so here's the last round here. I'm gonna have to use the bathroom after this. So I'm gonna go first. Obviously, my hand's actually pretty decent. Not gonna lie, but I do draw the Retribution, which is kind of awkward. I just normal summon Cartesia and then go chain opening, pitch the Retribution. At this point, I go Aluber. Aluber effect is going to be able to get the branded fusion here, unless I get. Oh, no, I think I get High Spirits here to play because I do have another Albaz in hand, so I need to play around Ash Blossom. I'm like, he might ash the High Spirits, and if he does, he wins here, or he doesn't win here, but he's in a lot better shape. But so High Spirits here will pitch the Albaz. I'm going to get the Titaniclad into the graveyard, and then I'm going to be able to search out the Spriggan's Kit. And Kit's going to be able to search out the branded fusion. I do have the Retribution in graveyard too if I need to spin back something, but the card in my hand is pretty inconsequential, so I'm just going to go Spriggan's Kit here and search out the branded fusion. And at that point, after getting the branded fusion, obviously I have to put a card back to the bottom of my deck, which is the only card in my hand. And I do have the Retribution in graveyard, so I'm going to have to end up chaining this here soon. I go Fallen of Albaz, and I go send the Lubellion because I need to get brand loss. I don't even know why I'm debating on sending Lubellion. It's always Lubellion here. I have Cartesia on board. It's always Lubellion. I go Albion here. I go Chainlink 1 Albion, Chainlink 2 Retribution at this point. I kind of do a big think because like my board state isn't like I don't have any cards in hand, so I go Lubellion. It's obviously kind of awkward, and I do have 2 Albazes in graveyard, so this plays around Bestial, which is very good. And so I'm gonna go Chainlink 1 Albion, Chainlink 2 Retribution. Thinking about it, he was just like asking me about Albazes in graveyard, so then I go Chainlink 2 Retribution, targeting the branded opening, so I can be able to rediscard that off of the Lubellion, and then banishing Fallen of Albaz plus the kit on board, so I can keep the Fallen of Albaz in the graveyard, and I can go out to the to the Lubellion, the Searing Dragon, and then Lubellion, the Searing Dragon will then spin back the Mirror Jade after pitching the opening, and then I contribute over the Albion for the Bestial Lubellion, which will then get me the branded loss to search out a Mercurier off of Kit. So I'm just basically going full combo here. He has no hand traps, so definitely unlucky that he opened no hand traps. But I do think I definitely played around a few hand traps with this hand, to be fair. And then I can go Grand Guignol 1. And then loss 2. Loss is going to search out the Mercurier. And then the Grand Guignol is going to be able to send the Gimmick Puppet here because I do have... I do also have everything in graveyard. I could send the Leonidas here, but it's always just the Gimmick Puppet here. It's either that or the Rinbrum, but I don't have the extra Gimmick... Or I do have the extra Albaz. Right? No, I don't. At that point, we're going to go into the end phase and then get the Titaniclad effect to get the Quem. Quem's going to dump the Cartesia. Or no, the Fallen of... Or I think it's going to be Cartesia anyway, because I already have Fallen of Albaz in the graveyard. So yeah, it's going to be Cartesia so I can get back to hand. And then I'm going to get the Albion effect to get the Brandon in red, and then Cartesia effect is going to go back to hand, so I have an extra discard. Since I already have a Cartesia in the graveyard, you always have to keep Albaz and Cartesia in rotation, folks. Always remember, always remember. We're also almost at 50 likes on the stream, guys. Make sure to leave a like. We're at 44 likes, 73 people watching. I really do appreciate all the love right now. You guys coming through. You guys make this stream incredible. You guys are always lively in the chat. Thank you, thank you. So I go Brandon Red in the draw phase because I do have Gimmick Puppet in the graveyard. There's no point in not going draw phase. This forces out like Droplet forces out everything and forces out especially the bestials, and I have the Mercurier in hand, so he has to have double bestial. He has to have called by, and he does have the called by. My man does have the called by the grave. So at this point I'm able to and we're actually we're at like 8 minutes now, probably even less at this point. So we're both trying to play super fast, and at that point I'm like, yeah, there's nothing I can do about that. I was debating on chaining Rinbrum because I could chain Rinbrum and gotten Albaz on the board, but there would have been a real point because I would have been banishing my own card off of Mirror Jade, so that would have just been super neg just to get a body on board with no Cartesia, so that would have been an int. And then he's gonna be able to play his turn. He does have 4 cards in hand now, or 5 cards overall. He does have the King Sark pitching the Cloak. And I have to read some of these fam cards. I'm like, just keep going. I'm going to read your cards as you're going. And he's going to then send the Happy. He's going to banish the Phantom Knights and get the Torn Scales into the graveyard. And that's going to be able to get his Dwamatef into the graveyard. He's going to start probably swarming the field with Horus cards. I have to be really careful about this because the Horus cards make it really hard to interact with everything. Also, Mirror Jade just here is going to be able to put in a lot of work. I just have to make sure he doesn't really start popping off too much. But then he goes normal summon another Phantom Knight. I think it's like the Boots. I think that's the Boots. Could be wrong. And then he's able to special summon out another one. And he has so many bodies at this point. I'm like, you can just keep going. I'm going to wait for you to trigger the Quem. And at that point, I'm like, he goes in Cherubini. I go Quem targeting Cartesia. I'm asking him if that's on summon. And then at that point, I'm able to... I'm debating on going Mirror Jade effect. It's just... I have to wait essentially until he goes battle phase because we have like 5 minutes left. I'm like, I could go Mirror Jade, but he just goes like Horus effect. And then he gets back his advantage. Like that's the way he's playing this, how he wants it to be. And I do want... just the Horus cards to not really be able to dismantle my board. All my cards are in defense position, so I'm in a good position not to give him life. And at this point, I do need to make Masquerade for time too. Now that I'm noticing that the game is getting down to time, there is no reality where I don't make Masquerade here. So he goes into the he activates the Cherubini, but then I chain the Cartesia. And Cartesia is going to then make the Masquerade off of hand. So I can start applying damage because he still needs to do a lot more. He can't get over my board at the moment without applying an effect. So that's why I just have to do the Masquerade now. I could have done Masquerade at the beginning of the turn, but then he could have just like done nothing. But obviously we had enough time at that point, so I probably should have just made the Masquerade at the beginning. He searches off another Fam Knight's trap and then pitches it, and then I do have to get my search off of Branded Lost, getting the Shrouded Dragon, and then pitching the trap, and then he's going to pitch another Horus, and then banishing the War Enchantress to then get the Ray of Erismir, and then pitching the Imseti to then get the Fateful Adventure out. And now he's going to be able to send that and then go I think he's attempting to go battle phase here. No, he's going to summon Imseti and then go Fateful Adventure to get out the Draco back. And I'm asking if it's just like the bounce, like, because again, adventure cards aren't really relevant anymore, to be honest, which is crazy. That engine has kind of gotten power crept, and I'm just like counting the Masquerade minus 600s, and you guys will kind of see Masquerade is so good against a deck like this. I presume it would be really good against a deck like Yubel. They need to combo like 20 times, so they're going to play into Masquerade. They're going to go minus 6,000, and he's going to, like, even if he goes into battle phase and dismantles my board, he's not even going to do enough damage kind of thing. So this is kind of like why I think Masquerade is so good right here. But then he goes Draco back into bouncing Masquerade. I should have put Masquerade maybe in defense, but like I put it in attack because it was already going to do damage. It's just he could have attacked over it, but his Dwamatef was only at 24 at that point until he put Imseti on the board, so it made him play into Masquerade. So I think the attack position was correct because he could have just went battle phase otherwise. Anbufir, what's up? What's up, Salty Fry? How's it going? My trusted mod in the chat, and then also channel member in the chat, Anbufir. How you doing? How you doing? And he goes into, so let me rewind this. So he goes battle phase, and then he attacks Dwamatef into Mirror Jade. I go Mirror Jade effect to then send for cost. Now we are in time at this point, but we are in battle phase, so the battle phase is going to decide everything. Currently, Figs is like minus like 4,600 or 5,000 or so. So I send the Albalinatus and then banish I decided to banish the Imseti, or no, I think I do the Dwamatef. I can't tell. No, I banished the Imseti. So I'm like asking if Dwamatef will keep its attack, but no, it will not. So I just have to get rid of one of the bodies so Dwamatef doesn't have enough attack to attack over any of my guys. So I'm going to just banish the Imseti so Imseti can't trigger. He's going to be able to trigger either Imseti. He's going to trigger Happy, and Happy's fine at this point. We're in the battle phase, so he can't get back any cards that are going to help him. Like maybe if he was able to get back a Forbidden Droplet, that would have helped him a lot there. But obviously he didn't have any droplets in that situation. Can Imseti or can Happy even get back Droplet, or is it just monsters? You guys let me know. Yo, is this Mills? Yeah, this is one of my game. This is my finals against Figs form on YouTube in the finals of Millennium Games. We were both undefeated. This is game 3 right here. We are currently in time. Our game 1 went very long after I gimmick puppeted him like 4 times. To be fair, that was on like both of us. Like I should have killed him earlier, and then he just scoops because he's not able to do enough time or enough damage and dismantle the board. And I kind of like want to go back if he was going to be able to, because he has to go battle phase here, but he has 2 cards in hand. Or no, he doesn't have 2 cards in hand. He doesn't have really the best board to play around things. I do have Cartesia is cooked. Grand Guignol will give me something, and I do have follow-up. So it's one of those board states I'm wondering if he was able to keep playing, if he would have won the game. But it's one of those things in Yu-Gi-Oh! Time is just a factor, and it's one of the things you have to play around, or else you are going to, you run into time issues. So I end up winning here. So yeah, that was a GG. I ended up getting called by and still won through that, even though it was time. But I think I would have won either way. Like I said, my follow-up was insane that game. So yeah, guys. Yeah, guys. So that was the game. That was a fun little game. We can show you guys maybe one more. I'm trying to think. Is there a point? Because I do have one more actually from Mills. Oh no, let's roast Deckless. Let's roast Deckless. All right, so we have a bunch of Deckless guys. Let's roast some Deckless. This is a cook or be cooked game, says. Yeah, that's basically what happened. So we have a bunch of new lists. We don't have too many new lists, but we're gonna roast the ones that we have. How's everyone doing in the chat? We did miss a lot of chats as I was going through that, but any plans on playing Master Duel? Yeah. Would you play in place of Triple Tactics Thrust? Probably Cross Out or Nadir. 50 cards super base. Bro, Mirror Jade and Jerby in the same space. Keck, is that true? Yo, is this Mills? Yep. Hey, doing all right. Quem got lost in the mount. Oh no. Hopefully you're going to be able to get a refund on that. This is a cook or be cooked game. So yeah, I'm going to throw up a game super quickly, guys, though. Because I really need to use the bathroom. So I'm going to throw up a video. I'm going to throw up my video from earlier, my deck profile, so you guys can see it. And then we are going to roast deck list. Make sure to post your deck list down in the Discord if you want some advice and help on your deck list. So I'm going to play my deck profile from earlier so you guys can see.
Post ban list, and it's been just fine. Cartesia has just been a monster. It's a bit, like, I think with Brand Fusion at 1, Cartesia control with Quem is way more integral, because if you're not regenning resources off of Quem and Cartesia every turn, like going Cartesia effect, diffuse, and then Quem effect, revive the Mirror Jade, search off a loss, like that is really the backbone to the game, to the deck at the moment. So you guys just have to, I think you have to run 2 Quem. 2 Quem is very standard. And the Stellar is definitely not needed. You could run it as a 3rd Cartesia, but I prefer it. 3 Shrouded Dragon because it's really good right now. I'm not on the Lad this build, but I still want to run it at 3 because it's just a +1. 3 Bestial Lubellion. So this is like the new edition. This is the Bestial package. 2 Bestial Saranir, and then 1 Bestial Luber, which is what we weren't on before. So I think Bestial Luber could kind of be cut because I was running it with Super Poly before, because the theory is you could go normal Bestial Luber Super Poly, and then it's an Albaz. So this should probably be a Magnuma. I'm just going to say up front, if you're running Super Poly, you could consider running this. It's not bad because it's an Albaz, so you can send off a Saranir and have an Albaz in graveyard. I just think the 3 Bestial Lubellion is the biggest point of this deck, or of this new build, one of the biggest points, because no more Appaloosa. So you're going to be able to run the Bestial Lubellion at 3 with impunity, because you're not going to have to deal with Chainlink 1 Appaloosa on your Bestial Lubellion anymore, which is typically what happened, because if they didn't answer the Bestial Lubellion, obviously you would just attack over the Appaloosa because it would always be under 2,500. So having 3 of it makes it so that you're able to combo a lot more. I think this is super important post-branded fusion to 1, because especially without Appaloosa, I think this is your way to always see branded fusion. As long as you see Lubellion plus a branded card in hand, you have full combo. So I think that's why it's very good if you have Lubellion plus opening, Lubellion plus Cartesia, Lubellion plus Aluber, Lubellion plus High Spirits, Lubellion plus Allure. Like it helps with the Allure and to pan or to fan the High Spirits as well. So I think this is very, very good, and this was one of the best parts of my deck today, because going second, it's like, great, I put pressure on them, I get a body, and then I can get Lost Access, and it allows me to combo off with Saronir. Saronir is only at 2 in this build. I could see it going to 3 maybe, but I just wanted to have a 3rd Bestial that gave me a different option than Saronir when I already have Saronir in hand, and sometimes it can kind of get bricky running 3 Saronir, especially. You can't run 3 Saronir with 3 Lubellion, so this is why this should be a Magnemite though upon further
thought.
Yeah. The banishes, 2 Mercurier, 1 Tragedy. We're running Grass is Greener, so Tragedy is better in that situation, but I still think that you need 2 Mercurier. 2 Mercurier came up for me almost every game where I needed to search the second one. Or it would have been important if they used a card effect, so you just gotta run it. And then 1 Tearlaments Shiren, so this is the new goo because we're on grass, of course, so I've been testing out different ratios of the Tearlaments cards. This card's just incredible, in Branded in particular, because it can unbrick your hand, you can pitch a Tragedy, pitch a Shrouded Dragon, mill 3, hopefully get some more names in the graveyard, and then but the best part is sending it off a branded fusion or pitching it off a branded opening, because then you get free fuse off of it. I think that's really important in this meta right now, especially like to play through just like hand trap.
Tearlaments Shiren is so good right now, guys. Like I hope like I can show you guys, because that board I made game 1 was not happening without Shiren. I made like an extraordinary board. I had like Mirror Jade, Predaplant, like Sanctifier, like Boral, plus like potentially Chimera is kind of nuts.
This allows you to play through Droll.
Also, we're gonna roast deck list in like 5 minutes, guys. Do not worry. Just wait. 3 more likes before we get 50 likes. Let's hit the 50 likes, and we're gonna get into these deck lists in a few minutes. I'm just gonna play this deck profile for a few minutes. Oh no, we can watch Gelzo. Let's watch Gelzo, and let's watch Gelzo's video for a minute. See what Gelzo's on.
You've been waiting for. My branded list, and this is still not the grass branded list. I'm going to do a separate video on that. This is the list that I came up with and finalized for this new format, the new September Forbidden and Limited list. I'm going to do a tier list video where I'm ranking all the decks, but mainly your main concern right now is beating Yubel, and this deck is built to do
Yeah, that's totally
just
fair.
that. It's going to be in-depth going into the list, and again, the grass branded build is coming, but I wanted to do this first because this is an asterisk. I think grass is not as
By
good
the way,
as
shout out
people
to Gelzo, guys. Make sure to check it out. You guys know him.
think. But we'll discuss that. We wanted to keep the list minimal, lean, tight, and consistent, and this is what this deck does. I'm also going to show you a side deck today. I'm also going to show you side deck patterns today. So this is it. The September format branded SPL list. Let's go. Now, a lot of the ratios might surprise you. This is a 40 card build. I found that this is the most consistent way to play right now. Playing 2 Aluber.
Interesting. I mean, I feel like
the
40 card is really consistent. I just feel like it loses to hand traps too much, but you know, I'm curious to see the build. 2 Aluber spicy too.
The problem with branded right now is that it does have a lot of normal summons, and as you cut down the amount of cards in your deck, the consistency issues with opening up too many normal summons comes up. So that's a problem, and you don't want to see, because we need to be playing cards like it, we need to start cutting down on the normal summons so we don't break. Because breaking in this deck means you open too many normal summons, or playing into a board means you just have too many normal summons. 2 Aluber is the decision here, and this also might seem a little bit controversial, I think 2 Albaz right now is fine. You could add one. You can bump this up to 45 if you want.
I unfortunately do not agree with the 2 Albaz, but well, let's see his reasoning, because like obviously in the deck profile we had before, it was pretty good.
I think that 40 covers pretty much every basis, and I think 2 Albaz is the correct play here. You shuffle one of them into the deck most of the time. The grind game of this deck, you can bump this up to 45 a little bit by having one branded fusion.
I unfortunately do.
You need to be playing for the kill much faster this time around. So like having 3 for the grind game isn't as important because you need to be ending the game quickly. We're playing 2 Cartesia, which is relatively standard here. 2 Cartesia is fine, but I am playing 1 Quem, and I am testing this right now. I think that usually more than 1 Quem is like a little bit of a win more in situations where you get nibbed, where I don't see it happening this much in this format. So
I'm not sure. I don't think 2 Quem is win more. It's more like it can be kind of bricky on the normal summons, but it's one of those things where it helps you complete gimmick lock. You need it for certain lines through hand traps. Helps you play through multiple hand traps. Helps you play through nib. I understand though in a 40 card build, 1 Quem makes sense. 1 Quem makes sense in 40 cards, so.
The second Quem isn't as important. We are playing 2 Grand Guignols because that is important because Gimmick Puppet Nightmare and Sanctifier are still legal. However, I think that 1 Quem and 2 Cartesias, again, you don't want to max out on normal summons, you don't want to break. Usually decks play like 5 normal summons, right? And then I think this is still important, and this card is, you cannot break on this card, thankfully. It's Albion the Shrouded Dragon. It opens up the door for Branded and High Spirit plays, which are really, really important because you don't have easy access to Branded Fusion all the time. So this dumping Branded Fusion or Branded Retribution is really crucial at this point in the deck's life cycle. So I am still playing 3 of this. In terms of Bestials, 1 Lubellion, 1 Serenir, and I'm also playing 1 Magnamut. I think
Yo, what's up, Corey? How's it going? Congrats on the first place, big dog. I appreciate. Did you check out the deck profile, man? What did you like about it? How are you doing, more importantly, man? Nice to see you. Channel member Corey in the chat, always supportive. Appreciate you. Looking forward. Hope you posted a deck list for me to roast. Looking forward to that.
Bestials are going to be still important with Fiendsmith and Yubel.
We're going to be roasting
having
very
Magnamut
soon.
in hand is really good to make sure you grab a Albion the Shrouded Dragon or an Albaz for your turn. Also, a little bit more dark dragon count for High Spirits, and also for Branded in White, which we also play in this deck. So I think 3 Bestials like this is absolutely the right call. Now, in terms of the other guys, you know, the ones at the end, 1 Tragedy, 1 Kit is important. You will need to be grabbing Branded Fusion from Banish, from Graveyard. You know, it's not a playground anymore. Like, we need to be working for this. So Kit is important in this build. We're playing 1 Mercurier, and we're playing 1 Gimmick Puppet Nightmare, which is still legal for some reason. This is the monster count. It's about half the deck. I think it's like 19 or 20 monsters, which is a bit high for Branded. Branded is usually heavier on the spells. 1 Branded Fusion, it's fine. It's absolutely fine. Like, whether it's this build, the 60 card build, this doesn't really matter. Like, having 1 is just, like, once you resolve this, you win the game anyway. Once you resolve this, you should be winning the game. So it doesn't matter if it's 1 or if it's less or if it's more in that case. 3 brand.
Yeah, 1 Branded Fusion, kind of what it ends up doing is it just kind of affects your ability to go second and through hand traps as much. But even though those scenarios, it's not really like, it's just like losing to double and perm a lot more.
Branded opening. Thankfully, we still have this. This is a non-starter. In terms of like, this is not cuttable. And 3 deployment. Again, we want access to, like, you want Cartesia every single time. Every single time you want Cartesia. And now, we're playing only 1 High Spirits. So the reason I'm playing only 1, you could be playing 2. So basically, let me just put the other branded cards here, right? These are not cards that you need or want to draw. These are cards you need to search in order to play around Ash Blossom. We'll do a lot of streams this month because I'm off work for like a month. So that's going to be awesome. We'll do a lot of gameplay. And you will see that sometimes searching for one of these is better than searching for Branded Fusion, because searching for Branded Fusion might lose you the game to Ash, but these will likely, like especially High Spirits, will not be Ashed and will provide you guaranteed follow-up and Branded Fusion. And if you get Ash, you still have something to lean back on. Now, Branded and
That 40 card build doesn't convince me that much. I mean, it's not like there's any, like, I just don't see where you're playing through all the hand traps personally, but I know he is releasing a grass build, so he's giving, there's options.
It is a good board breaker, and it's also a very good utility when there's only 1 Branded Fusion, because you can use the materials left over in the graveyard during the next turn to start breaking up a board, right? So you could cut down, if you don't like Branded and White, you could cut it down for another copy of High Spirits. But again, you don't want to draw these, you want to search
Or another copy of Branded in Red.
them off of Aluber most of the time. And one Branded Lost, one in Red, pretty standard. One Gold Sarcophagus for consistency. One Foolish Burial. We brought this back into the deck because, again, you need that extra consistency, right? You want to get access to Albert and Quem, so you need these cards. And then we're playing, of course, 3 Thrust. This is standard. We still need this card. And in addition to Thrust, we're playing the one board breaker I decided that is correct to play in the main deck, which is Forbidden Droplet. And I'll explain a little bit why I think Droplet is the one. Unfortunately, the Fiendsmith Yubel board is really annoying because it has an Omni negate, but it also has a negate for both the Droplet and Dark Ruler No More. Okay? So usually if you have Dark Ruler No More, which we have in the side, they can just negate it with a Desiree. And it sucks. It really sucks. They can also negate the Droplet with a Desiree. The problem is, and the difference is, the Droplet, while it does require you to invest more resources, it does mean that you can use it to do other things than just Dark Ruler. You can dodge things with it, and you can activate it reactively in chain, right? So there is a higher likelihood where you can actually negate something successfully. Because if you drop Dark Ruler No More, it's just going to get negated. And again, Dark Ruler is in the side because I think it's valuable. So I think this is why I decided to play these ones specifically. Maybe it's going to prove out to be incorrect. We'll have to see in testing. 1 Talents, 1 Call by the Grave, 1 Retribution, and 1 Fusion Duplication. This hasn't changed. 40 cards in the main. Let's go over to the extra deck.
Yeah, so I'm not really impressed with 40 card Branded anymore. Like, I feel like it worked in a lower power ceiling format, and this is going to be a lower power ceiling format, but so maybe 40 card is like, it's definitely more viable than last format. I'm just, you know, there's going to be a lot of, I mean, there are going to be board breakers, but I still think there's going to be a lot of hand traps overall. Like, I don't see why we would stop running hand traps. So you just need the ability to run through a lot of hand traps, and 40 cards, you kind of just end up dying to more than an imperm or an ash kind of thing, or in combination that will kill you. And 60 cards allows you to play through a lot more and have a different game plan than just resolving Branded Fusion or searching Branded Fusion. This build just seems like it gets really choked up if you can't get that search.
Honestly, like, probably like the most straightforward. We're playing 2 Albion and 2 Mirror Jade. In the 60 card list, you will probably see 1 of each, which is cool. It's interesting. And 1 Lubelia. 1 Titanic Lad, 1 Sanctifier, 1 Rindbrum, and 2 Grand Guignol. You need the 2 Grand Guignol, and I mentioned this in previous videos, to do the Puppet Lock under Branded Lost during your opponent's turn much, much better. Like your turn, you play it, and again, I'll have a lot of gameplay on the channel. You will see how this plays out. You play as if you don't Puppet Lock, and you do the whole Puppet Lock during your opponent's turn. This is why you need the 2nd Grand Guignol. And then Furious, Stapelia, Guardian Chimera, Queritus, and my favorite card in the main as of late, Masquerade. You put this up against Yubel, it kind of sucks for them. Like, they need to pay
Exactly. It's so good in the main, guys. Like, that's the reason I won my game 3 in that finals, obviously. Like, Masquerade is just such a good card, and it wasn't even the fact it was like a time card kind of thing. It was just kind of crazy.
It's like, this is a really good floodgate. It's a really good tech card. It's obviously not a tech card per se, but yeah, I really like this. Now, additionally, of course, like, if Tenpai still sees play, you're gonna have to play Albalenitus. And honestly, so far I didn't manage to find room for Brand.
So like, oh yeah,
Light and Darkness Dragonlord, but in the 60 card build, in the Grass Branded build, you will see this. So just remember it's an option. Now, I want to start off by saying,
I feel like, yeah, no, like Alba's, like, they're tough to run, right? Like, they're very optional.
like, this is gonna be the side deck. I want to start off by saying that I have tested the Gizmic Uka and Ecclesia package extensively. If you don't know what I mean, head over to MetaGamesGX channel to see. I think I also have a video about that.
Hello? Shout out to Galzo, man. We love the guy. I appreciate you, Galzo. I didn't even know I got a shout out there. No, seriously. That's why I'm always shouting out Galzo too, because like, if you guys want to see some stuff on Branded, he puts out so much diverse content on Branded. Like, he was doing like Yubel or Chimera Fiendsmith, like all of the above. Like, In his work ethic and just like his quality is just like almost unmatched in the community. So you know, shout out to Galzo once again. You know, appreciate it.
Basically, what the package does is Gizmek Oka will summon itself from the hand when your opponent goes Requiem Tribute to summon Fiendsmith from deck. Then you can target the Fiendsmith, summon Ecclesia, Incredible Ecclesia, the Sword Soul 1, tag it out for Albaz, and then fuse on your opponent's turn, make a Mirror Jade, take out a body. It's a huge interruption. However, this is
also, I do want to say, like, I've talked to Galzo like personally about this, where like he was using Uka before anyone else, so that's very humble of him, because he like he was on Uka in purely format, like as the goo. So you know, shout out to him.
not super good against Yubel because you will see Phantom very early. It's not going to resolve, right? So I just don't think it's worth it. It's a 4-card package, and I don't think it's the most correct thing to do. This is why I don't play it. I did play it. I did test it, guaranteed. But yeah, Molchami, Purrely, very good in branded. Also very good against Yubel specifically. You will get more draws out of Yubel more than any other deck.
I really like the side deck. I really like the side deck. Like Purrely, like I still think Purrely is like so good. I would have been running it if I had copies. I just don't I just don't own it. I would be running this. I forgot to mention this in my deck profile.
Want to draw into your board breakers and engine pieces. One Shadal Dragon. Mainly to out Floodgates,
nice
Nightmare
so
Pain,
nice.
and the Fiendsmith Sequentia, which is equipped to the Desiree. They cannot Desiree it, so they need to have an Omni Negate or waste a Phantom of Yubel, and you can use it to chain block, right? So it's really, really good. 3 Dark Ruler no more. Sorry. I think that it is important to have this still. Like, unfortunately, you're going to have to side in like 3 of this, and then, yeah. And 3 Droplet
Yo,
Imprint.
Revelation,
Like,
thanks for becoming a member. Thank you. Welcome to the Despian Squad. Let me know what your name is on the Discord so I can get you into the coaching group chat.
Roll to Yubel.
If you, I want to do this in the middle of Galzo's video, but like, if you guys want to sign up, like, you know, coaching group chat, if you become a member, all that fun
I'm
stuff.
sorry. Like, it's not always game over, but it's definitely an uphill battle. And then we're playing 1 Change of Heart and 1 Snatch. I think it's really good.
Ooh, these are spicy. These are spicy. I will say this is something I was considering myself, and that QCR Snatch Steel looks gorgeous. I need to get one. So I was like thinking about putting in Change of Heart actually the night before the locals. I was just trying to justify it. I was like, what does this really, what is this a silver bullet for? So let's see what Galzo says.
Because you can use, like, you can really use your opponent's interactions when it comes to things like Yubel, or even, you know, taking a Flamberge, taking the IP, forcing out something when it comes to like Snake Eyes and stuff. You cannot obviously target Desiree, but it will force out an interruption. So these are just good 1-for-1s, right? You just want a 1-for-1, which is great because these provide so much value. If they resolve, awesome. If they don't, you took out an interruption, which is, you know, everything that you want to do anyway. 1 Duster, searchable by Thrust, obviously. So we definitely want to play that. The Yubel back row is very
I ran Duster too, and it was kind of like mid, but it is like something I think you just need. Like, it's such no other card does what it does.
very annoying. So at least you need to
Lightning
deal
Storm,
with that.
but Lightning Storm's
And then 1, there can be only 1 in the side. If you manage to stick this against Yubel, you win. The deck is entirely full of fiends, and you
does that blow out Yubel? Can they just link climb out of it? Yeah, no, that sounds about right.
can play under it very easily.
And like in a 40 card build, that totally makes sense. Like, you'll see Tisabu, and just like Anbuyami in the chat said, you actually see your side deck in 40 cards, which is the upside. Like, there are upsides, there are gives and takes. I made a deck building guide for branded where you know, the differences between 40, 50, and 60 card branded. And 40 card branded, the best upside to that build is you get to open branded fusion, and you get to open your side deck cards more often. The branded fusion argument just got worse, but the side deck argument is still there. That's why I'm just not fully convinced on 40 card personally. I think 50 to 60 will give you a more gas to play through, but you know, you gotta test these things. So I'm glad that Galzo's putting out a list like this. I actually really do like it. Like, 2 Aluber, 2 Albaz is spicy, honestly, and I see where he's coming from. I think he's correct on the branded in white as well. It's something I'm kind of not running on my build, and it was cool to see him also on Forbidden Droplet as well. Also, his extra deck was pretty, like, basically, you know, It's the brand extra deck. But wait, we got more. Wait, that's a super poly.
And then something that I'm testing right now is 3 Super Poly and 1 Garura. Yes, you cannot negate. You cannot use Phantom of Yubel. However, you can use Nightmare Griffin and Fiendsmith Desiree. You need something, right? It's either going to be the blue dog.
If that's going to be the end board, then Super Poly is crazy this format. However, in my testing, the end boards are so different right now that Super Poly, like I've said this before, it's going to be a card that we are going to get the idea of how good it is this format once things get more figured out and solved.
And Varudras,
we know
which are both
the end boards
darks,
look like.
right? You can't use Garura for them, but I think the thing that scares me the most is the Nightmare Griffin, and I think people are going to go heavily into Nightmare Griffin, so Garura can really help in those scenarios. Now, I did promise some side patterns, so I do want to show like what I would do if I would go second against Yubel, right? So exactly what I would do. I mean, you can use Fusion Duplication to go second. It does work sometimes, but I think in this era, now with Branded Fusion Limited and this deck count specifically, it might not be the smartest thing. We need the thrusts and we need the droplets here. I'm going to get rid of the Foolish Burial when I'm siding right now, and also the High Spirits in white.
Yeah, those are all side outs I typically will lean towards. Like, white isn't great going second. You don't need multiple High Spirits going second, but definitely keep in one usually. In my opinion, because I've lost games just not having the High Spirits, and then Foolish Burial is also very cuttable.
I might get rid of 1 deployment, I think. Puppet, you do want to keep because the play is to clear the board as much as possible and then Puppet lock on the crackback. But Kid is maybe non-mandatory, and going second Lubellion is not that great, and possibly 2 Albions, right? The rest I think are mandatory. So we do have a lot of room to play with, right? These are like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cards, which might be oversighting, right? It might be oversighting, but we definitely want Duster, and we definitely want Change of Heart and Snatch, because again, the Nightmare Griffin is annoying. Like you need it to have a plan to deal with that, and then 3 Dark Rulers and probably 3 Molchummies. It's 9 cards, right? You will draw into what you need here. So that's like one example of a side pattern.
See, this is also why I wish I had Molchummies over the Dark Rulers probably in my side deck, because Molchummy would just draw me into my other board breakers. So if you do have Molchummies, you could always use those over like the Lightning Storms. Oh no, yeah, I would have done it Molchummy over Lightning Storm Feather Duster, frankly, personally.
And yeah, this is branded for the new format, 40 cards, as lean as possible, but there's going to be a ton more branded content this week and the following week because we have a new format and Branded Fusion is actually limited. So the grass branded build is coming. I'm cooking. I'm promising you that by the end of the week. Thank you so much for watching. Please comment, like, subscribe, share this with a friend, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.
All right. So shout out Galzo, guys. Check him out. YouTube.com/Galzo. Leaving a like, of course. So yeah, no. Are there any? I don't think there's any other branded content besides the pack. Oh, we could go to Pack's deck profile quick, and then we can do roasting deck lists. If you guys want to do that, or do you guys want to just do roasting deck lists? Let me know quickly in the chat.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to another locals video. Just keep in mind that this is just locals, and we're just here to have fun and learn along the way. So, guys, please be nice to people that I play against.
So what I did was, of course, as you guys saw on the Forbidden Limited list, Branded Fusion went to 1. I'm a big believer that I don't think that did anything to the deck. So, of course.
Yeah, shout out to Pack. Check out his channel, youtube.com/Pack. I've had both him and Galzo on the branded cast, so you guys can check us out talking branded, everything branded. If you go under the branded cast playlist, I do have a podcast that comes out at least once a month. Hopefully I try to make it bi-weekly, especially with the new format. I'm going to be making a new branded cast I want to get on hopefully some of the top minds with branded and just, you know, talk shop in the in the format. So yeah, we're gonna talk. This is from his locals list. He just won the luxury locals from their new shop in, I think, Florida, and he won the locals. He's not playing Puppet, I've heard. I think it's a 40 to 50 card list. And yeah, he posts the games and then the deck profiles at the end, so we're just gonna skip to the deck profile so you guys can check out the video. It's his most recent video on his channel.
So I have to you know, it is locals in the day, but I wanted to prove a point, so I decided to enter the tournament with only one brand infusion, which, or I guess the point that I'm trying to make is drawing brand infusion is a luxury. Most of the time, you have like so many ways to get access to it that even though it is at one, it's not really a big detriment. I think the more impactful cards are like the Gimmick Puppet and like the Sanctifier, which I think in one of my rounds, if you guys watch the VOD, you'll see that I used Sanctifier to not even summon the puppet. I was summoning like Aluber and like Jade. So sometimes like that's enough to like win. You just gotta, I guess, yeah, you don't have to always turbo the puppet. There's like other ways to still facilitate ways to win. But yeah, 3 Aluber, still a big fan of 3. 2 Quem, your main normal summon.
My mic was muted. People have been waiting for deck lists. I need to. Yeah, I already watched pack list. It's his 50 card 2 brand infusion. So okay, so we'll go to roasting deck list, guys. We're gonna roast deck list, and then we can watch the brand infusions, or sorry, his deck list after or something, because we do like to react to content. That is the thing. Isn't that just the thing to do if you're a content creator now? So we are going to go from the top today. Actually, we could just go from top to bottom to top. Asura in the chat with his list right here, post ban list, his branded deck list, post ban list. So of course, we do this series semi-regularly now, where we roast our community's ban or deck list to try to, you know, help them out, and of course, you know, give deck building advice and see where get a pulse on the meta. So, yeah, no, my mic was not working. So, 2 Fallen of Albaz, 2 Aluber. This is basically the. Oh no, this is different too. So that's spicy. And then 1 of each bestial besides Druistorm and Baldrake, and then 3 Shrouded Dragon. The way you have it ordered is a little disorienting, I'm not gonna lie. Try to order your guys' decks if possible, but branded opening, Gold Sark into 3 fusion deployment, 2 super poly. I don't really. It's kind of I feel like super poly definitely could be good in a broad format like this, where we don't exactly know where things are going necessarily. So like, it could be quite good, it could be not good. It's kind of a high variance kind of card right now, I feel like. So definitely I would wonder, like, if you've tested with it, how you've liked super poly so far. And you have Brand White 3 Book of Eclipse for the best board breaker on top of Super Poly, and the Nadir Servants for helping the branded fusion. I do like Nadir in this kind of context, but you don't have Maximus, so maybe add the Maximus plus a Garura. Yeah, where's the Maximus? You have Garura but no Maximus. You should be running Maximus. So that's my roast of the main deck, and then 3 Droll and Lockbird is okay right now. I'd say Droll and Phantasme is fine. It's either, I think Nib is better than Droll personally in our decks, because it's a light and it basically accomplishes generally the same thing in the current meta. And then, I mean, it depends, right? Because you can, if Droll hits the High King Caesar line more. And then Soul Release, Dark Ruler. Yeah, no, I like the list. I'd probably just make a couple changes there. And then we got Viros in the chat, aka Mr. Corey, 2. Oh boy, he has a Tenpai list for us. I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to just say we hate Tenpai, but no, I'll roast the list, of course. But Tenpai, my favorite deck. So 3 shifter in the main. You're doing it right already, and I didn't know you also play Tenpai. Very interesting, very interesting. I do like the list. I think the board breaker approach is generally correct on top of the shifter, with obviously like the Ash Blossom. I think you should probably be running 3 Ash Blossom, but that's just me. I do think that you have so many one-ofs. I'd be running like Cross Out somewhere, but there's also things like Power Filter I'd be running in the side deck for Yubel, because you need the Power Filter to be able to actually even play against Yubel. So going first. So definitely probably do Power Filters. Sangan Kaiman in the side deck is pretty interesting. I like the trap. The Sangan trap is pretty cool. I like the droplets. Overall, very solid list. It's 10 pi. You know how it be. I would probably... Oh, it's 1 Sangan. What? Why is this... This is supposed to be post-ban list, Corey. Anyways, this is post-ban list branded. 2 Aluber, 3... of course, the 3 Albaz, the boy. 48 card list. 48 card list is not bad at all. I do think that's all good. So what are thoughts on Patchwork Engine now, says Onbu? I hate Patchwork Engine right now, honestly, because DD High King Caesar makes it so Patchwork can't be a board breaker. So yeah, don't run it. And branded right now. I like this list. I do like the Baldrake. It's kind of spicy. Baldrake is currently really cracked. And you do have the Maximus on top of 2 Nadirs with 3 Allures with 2 High Spirits and 2 Duplications with no Thrust. So since you have no Thrust, I can understand those extenders because those are all like pseudo thrusts. So I guess that's fine. And then you do have the Banishment for the Light and Darkness Dragon in the side deck. I'd probably main deck it, if anything. You could probably take out the... You don't need the Brigand, the Glory Dragon, but it's spicy, right? Like, what's the theory behind the Brigand? Obviously, you can search out the Mercurier, but I feel like overall you don't really need that. You're usually supposed to search that off of the branded loss, so you could definitely just main deck the Light and Darkness Dragon Lord at that point. I like the Masquerade in the main. I think that the side deck's almost good on that part, and the main deck's actually quite good, especially without the Thrust. We just gotta get our boy Thrust. Maybe you could run 3 Saronir and then 3 High Spirit, and then 3 Lubellion and go with 50 cards. I think 3 Lubellion's very good, and then just like maxing out on the Bestials will make it so that High Spirits and Allure is always live, so you're able to play through hand traps and everything. I think that would be probably the play personally. Oh yeah, and then Asteroid said his list was inspired by Galzo, which makes sense, so shout out to Galzo once again. Also, I do like the ad-lib in the main on top of Puppet, because a lot of the time I wish I had ad-lib, because sometimes it's better than Puppet. Doug, specific for my locals, shout out to Doug in the chat. Wow, we got Duality, that's spicy. Duality plus a Stellar is spicy. Okay, deck specific for my locals. There's a lot of Tenpai, Sprite, and a little Runic Beast, and only 1 Fiendsmith Chimera. A lot of games go to time and end up losing to Gagaga Cowboy, sadly. That is crazy. So that is why he's still on the Spooky Dogwood. Obviously, Lacrima got the Banhammer. Rest in peace, Bozo, on the Lacrima, of course. But, you know, if there are time issues, you know, I've always talked about the local meta being something you have to kind of be considerate of. You know, what you are preparing for overall. It's definitely something to consider in that kind of context. But you do have the Duality, which is pretty cool, and then the one of Stellar. Stellar's been really good in my opinion. We have no grass is greener yet. I want to see some grass piles. Hopefully we got some. 3 High Spirits and then 3 Droplet with the white. 1 red makes sense with no desires. You really don't need the 2 red if you're not running desires, but I still like it with the banishment and then the white. There might be a little bit too many bricks, but you do run the 3 Cartesia on top of the 2 duality, so I'm wondering how you like the duality, how good it is. I wish duality could go out to Light and Darkness Dragon Lord, but sadly it cannot. Do you think that 10 pi is still 10 by? I mean, now that I got the ban list, it definitely... The ban list hit 10 pi kind of, you know, like... Pot Prosperity's at 1 now. Field Spell's at 1, so those are 2 hits to the deck. Deck's still very good, but... Yeah, no, I used to think 10 pi was like the buy before Genroku, and then Genroku came out, and I had to reassess that assessment I made about 10 pi. Man, I hate facing Shifter in 10 pi. If you go over the lines or what to do in those situations, that would be awesome. Yeah, I mean, I already have a combo video on that. If you go to my last 2 combo videos, I went over Shifter lines. Except for, or not my last 2, but if you go under the Lad combo guide, I go under the Shifter lines there for Lad. And also I have a Thunder Dragon deck profile that has combos with it. I would check that out as well. Okay, side deck is pretty cool. You do have the board breaker approach. I'd maybe get some Charmies if you have that option, obviously, over like, because there's too many board breakers in here. All like Imperm is a bit weak as well, but if you need it for like very specific situations, then I understand. And the Dragoon is very spicy. I want to know how Dragoon is. Obviously, Typhon is not really in the meta at the moment, really. So I think with Zealantis either. So I think that Dragoon has an easy time kind of surviving right now. So yeah, let's go to the next deck list. Powski. Mr. Powski's deck list here. 60 card grass. We got what we asked for. We prayed and we got it. So yeah, 60 card grass branded, 3 high spirits with the Shiren and the Stellar, of course, with the 1 Magma and then the 3 Sarnier. He made the additions I needed to make, guys, to my list. Those are the additions. But he added another Retribution, another white, and then the Banishment. I really do like this variation. These are things I would consider. I would say the Banishment is quite unnecessary if you're running white, in my opinion. I think Banishment's kind of a brick, in my opinion. I've always thought Banishment's a brick. Like, if I could do anything but run Banishment, that's just kind of my theory. Like, I've released the combos for it, like if you guys want the combos, but I do like this list. I think it's a perfect list. I don't really have anything to say about it. Oh, the side deck. Maybe I can roast the side deck. Brandsor in the side is kind of capped. I'd get that out. I get that for Shifter maybe, but not really. Change Heart Spicy and the Phantasme is probably why I should have considered instead of Molcharmy, because it's also a dark and a dragon, so in some situations better than Molcharmy. Masquerade in the side's just fine. Like the Stapelia in the main with this Elba in the main. Very good list. Very, very good list. Snow Wolf in the chat with branded 60 grass. We do have 3 triple tactics talents, which is kind of nuts. I would not be running that. Oh, and also on the last list, I would say run 3 Lubellion in this list. You need 3 Lubellion. You need more darks when you're running the high spirits and allure, so you probably should take out like the retribution and then like 1 retribution, 1 banishment for like 2 Lubellions personally. Or like also add a Cartesia. I just think you need more monsters, or else you might get some bricky hands on high spirits and allure of darkness generally. So this one, I do like the fact you have 3 Lubellion, and then you have obviously my board breaker package of 3 droplet, 3 eclipse, but you added on to that your own spice with the talents. I do love that. The 3 talents is really cool. Tell me how you like that if you tested it at all yet, because no, it's pretty early in the format, so you know not all things are kind of there yet, but so yeah, you do have the grass is greener. Grass is greener is insane in this deck. If you mill like any combination of these, like of a couple monsters, you're basically full combo. It's pretty crazy because all these cards are good mills. Every single card is a good mill, except for like, I mean, a Luber's even a good mill, which is crazy. Like every brandy card is a good mill. A Stellar in the graveyard is a great mill because then you can just like special summon it off of Lubellion. It's really crazy. Yeah, no, it's definitely very good main deck overall. I have actually no complaints about the main deck. Very perfect. And the extra deck is very cool. I do like the Lad. I think you did Lad over Masquerade. I think you need the Masquerade for the Shiren, though. What are you making off of Shiren? So I would just, besides like Lubellion, so I'd just like put the Masquerade over the Lad or Masquerade over Stapelia. And then you have the 2 Druid Swarm, which is definitely, I would say Baldrake would be better than one of the Druid Swarms personally, because Druid Swarm is kind of like mid in our deck personally. And then I would also consider Phantasme or Molcharmies in the side deck. So, yep, very good list, though. Very, very good. Very good, very good. All right, so we have Maxie's. Here, I'm going to go in order because I do want to get everybody in order. I think I already, Snowwolf, I already reviewed your list. I'm going to do one list at a time. So please, try not to double post the list because there's going to be too many lists. Or you can post lists afterwards, I guess. Oh god, the music's too loud. Sorry about that, guys. If I just hear... Alright, so... This list is by Fos. No, this list... Yeah, this list is by Fos. And he has an explanation for it. I like the list in the test hands, but maybe someone sees a big F up. I really don't like Paw of Desire, so that's my only no-no. But apart from that, I'm open to any suggestions. Yeah, no, you're at 51, so like 51, you don't need to run Paw of Desires. I think this kind of list is just fine without desires, you know? You don't need desires, and like I think at 50 you're doing just fine. I think this list is actually very solid for a 50 card list. 3 shrouded, 3 eluber, 1 kit, 3 carts, 2 quine, maybe 1 cart. I think 3 cart, 1 stellar is too much for 50 cards, so I'd cut 1 cart personally. And then three allure, yeah, no, that sounds about right. And then 1 branded in white. I would just say, like, obviously if you want to run the grass, it's pretty tough not to run desires with running 60, because if you're not running desires and you're at 60, you just have a draw problem issue with some of your hands where it's just kind of you'll brick with it, so without it. So there's no real equivalent either, like besides maybe patchwork, but not really. So this list is pretty solid though. You do have the do have the banishment though. Like I said, guys, I'd prefer the second red or like a white. I just think those cards are way better. The trap card is just so, I need my cards to be good going first and second, and retribution is not good going second, so I will never stand for retribution personally. But no, I get it. And I can't even be harsh on people. Like, please do not take this as me being harsh on banishment. I just, did I say retribution? God damn it. I meant branded banishment. I'm capping in the chat, guys. Roast me in the chat. Roast me in the chat. I'm roasting your deck list. You can roast me. Yeah, no. So, banishment is just kind of weak, in my opinion, going first. So, but it's like, I like the card. I'm just saying in this kind of meta, where you really need your cards to be good going second. Side deck's a bit all over the place with the 3 Phantasme and then the 1 Ash Blossom Dragon and the Borreload and Mask. I would not be siding Borrel. That should be in the main deck. You can take out very easily probably I mean, can you take out anything very easily? You have to take out the Stapelia or the Light and Darkness Dragon Lord. And you could take out the Banishment and the Lad and then put back in Borrel, or you could run the Lad over the Stapelia or the Lad over the Alba. But I think you need Alba this format. That's definitely something that I've been just noticing with all the Tenpai, just Dissipators going around. It's pretty solid. And then the 1 Feather Duster plus 3 cross out 3 evenly plus 1 Blazing Branded King and the D barrier. I like the side deck. I just like the cross out, maybe not. It just because people aren't looping D barrier like they were, so I don't think it's very important to have cross out right now, personally. Slayer in the chat, his classic Slayer in the chat with his list from YG Omega. Dude, man, Tenpai Shifter deck is such BS. The deck doesn't need Shifter. I agree. Shifter and Call By should be a 2 to reduce the consistency of the win con. Maybe, but then everyone has to run Called By a 2. That's the issue. Antonio Pampazzi, aha, thank you. Pampowski. I'm trying to work on the side because I know that it's not the best possible. Love from Italy. No problem, Antonio. Dude, man, I think Tenpai gets more interesting with the field spell put to 1. I mean, I agree. I mean, interesting insofar as they have to choose new cards. I'm not sure. Like if they start deck building different, I would love to see that. If they start running like Dragon Rulers, that'd be really cool. I love branded banishment, so it's shiny. I get it. Thanks for the roast, Chris. Really enjoyed the content. Keep it up. No problem, Mighty Gamble. Versus Tenpai, I would rather go D-Barrier going first. So if you get Shifter, you can search out with Thrust. Oh, understandable. Turn skip. Malware Gaming, man, I hate facing Shifter and Tenpai. If you can go over the lines of what to do in those situations. Yeah, no. So we can definitely like do an updated guide to the Shifter lines. Like maybe a dedicated video of what to do against Shifter. Definitely can do that. So what's up, BPA? Nice to see you. Can I get my... Banishment is not good if you're not running the U-Bell package. It's good with the U-Bell package, though. Fair enough. I also think it gets better with Adlib, too. So this list is by Slayer. I do like the main deck. 3 Eclipse, 3 Droplet, 3 High Spirit, 1 Banishment, 3 Luber, 3 Cartesia, 2 Quem, 1 Lubellion, 3 Saronir. I'd probably go up the Bestial count for the... Maybe, but I don't know. You're not even running Allure, so it's probably fine. Just like, I actually have no complaints with this main deck, frankly. And what you're trying to do. Good extra deck, too. You got the Lad, of course. Double Guignol. All the bells and whistles, plus the Borrel. In the main extra deck, of course. And no problem, guys. I hope I'm, like, being respectful, too. Like, I you know, deck building... That's the great part about Yu-Gi-Oh! Is the deck building part. You can, like, make your deck however you want. That's one of the coolest parts about it. I think... One of the best parts about Branded is deck building. You get to really play it how you want. You can really, it's kind of like build it your way. It's like building a McDonald's Big Mac kind of thing. Like you get to make it your way. You know, like how you want the deck to perform. You know, if you want to be going aggressive with the gimmick locks, you can, or you could be doing, you know, triple Mirror Jade until the cows come home. All right, so this is the list from Ozzy Oz. My first dive into branding. I'm testing it for a bit because I may want to play it IRL. Looking forward to it. That being said, I'm on a budget. No thrust for me as of right now. Anything dramatically wrong or improvable on this list? I would say the first thing I see is the patchwork engine should not be in your main deck. I know I loved this engine last format. It was one of the best engines last format. I just think it's not good right now because of DD King Caesar being in everyone's deck. So I would take that out for Book of Eclipse. Book of Eclipse is really good going first because you can dodge impermanence. If they go imperm and then you chain Book of Eclipse, then you can dodge it and then your Aluber still searches off a branded fusion. So definitely 3 Book of Eclipse and then you can run over that. I mean, it looks like you need a second Quem, but obviously you don't have the thrust. So I'd look at things like Nadir Servant to make up for that gas you don't have in that way to play around Ash Blossom. Also, 3 High Spirits is something you can consider with multiple Bystials. Like go up to 2, 3 Saranir and Lubellion, and then 3 High Spirits. Like 3 High Spirits, 3 Allure, and then maybe Allures or 3 Fusion Duplication. Or sorry, Nadirs or Fusion Duplication. Yeah, no, that sounds about right for the list. And then the side deck. Alba Linnaeus on the side is understandable. And then Gizmek Uka. I think Uka is definitely something to consider this format, especially if Yubel is going to be one of the best decks, because it's still pretty good against Yubel. And if Snake Eye actually survives, which I don't think it will, but if it does, it's going to be pretty good against them, obviously. So I do think that Uka, definitely keep onto your Ukas. And so I won't complain about that. And it is a hand trap. And in 50, you're going to see your side more. So I can understand running hand traps and a 50 card build more. I ran like 9 hand traps last format to stop the FTK. That was in 60 cards. I had to like side 9 so I could like actually try to see 1. And I'm happy with the Word Breaker package. And the Sprint is spicy in the side. And the extra, I'd learned the Sprite Sprined lines. It's very good. They're very good. Yeah, we're just trying to bust out these lists here. Okay, so what do I have here? Zanaki's list. Got Mr. Zanaki in the chat. We got 2 Albaz. We got a Galzo inspired 40 card right here. 2 Albaz, 2 Aluber. You love to see it. I think it's very correct. 1 Cartesia. Old art, 1 Cartesia new art. That is a very power move. You're like, I got to have it both ways, you know? So I think that's very cool. You got 1 all art Aluber plus 2 normal Alubers because I think he just prefers the normal Aluber, but he's like, hey man, I want to dabble. I want to get my Sakuna Aluber on for a second. 1 Quem definitely run more than one Quem, but that's just me. Super Poly is, I'd run Book of Eclipse. And besides that, take out the Blazing Branded King and put it in the side deck. Oh, we have the Examina stuff in the side deck. Yeah, I do like what you're doing here. This is spicy. But the Examina stuff should probably just be in the main deck, and then you can go to 50 cards, right? And then run like Allura Darkness. Put the Gimmick Pup in the main. Etude with no Synchro is really crazy. I don't know how much experimenting with Examina on the side going first. Heavy branded Yubel Chimera, so made Super Polyon in that case. Well, that's fair. Okay, so there's theory. Alright, so I caught up on all those. Now I have to catch up with the lists that were posted once I start doing things. I have Rev's list here. What's up, Rev? Rev wants me to roast him. What's up, buddy? So, Rev's 50 card branded list here. That's $70. Budget branded at its finest. Rev. We need to talk, bruv. You're running the patchwork engine when DD King Caesar is going to negate you on every instance of Poly trying to resolve. You don't even have branded lost at 3, so there's no way this is going to resolve into a Guardian Chimera. You do have the Super Poly, though. You have the Super Poly, so that might help you. I would just say remove the patchworks and put in the Book of Eclipses and stop the cap. Besides that, the main deck's just fine. Banishment and Dark Magician are the only points of contention where I'm like, I would like to remove those for more Bystials. I'd also say maybe 2 High Spirits in this build. Also, Jasser, thanks for subscribing before. The real BK, thanks for, or I think I already said that, yeah. Don't you mean Subway, says Revelation? Yeah, I do think I meant Subway. I knew I got the fast food chain incorrect, so I misplayed there. Corey, I like how you and EPA are friends now in the chat. It's awesome. Send it, brother. I tried using Allure, however, it didn't really work. So yeah, you always, to run Allure successfully, you have to have enough darks, and that's what I love about Patchwork. It makes Allure go, like, really purr. Like, this deck list works really well that Rev has with the, because the High Spirits Allure plus Patchwork is, like, it's like an engine in itself. It just, like, self-sustains itself. Like, it makes it so... Allure, you always have a dark, you always have something to plus off of because Patchwork triggers off of High Spirits, and then Allure of Darkness, obviously, so. Or sorry, Edgem Chain triggers off of being sent off of High Spirits, rather. How can I send my deck? You post in the deck list channel of my Discord, !Discord in the YouTube chat, guys. Also, shout out to you guys on Twitch. I do appreciate you, GZ1K, holding it down on Twitch. Nah, my list really just got ignored. GZ1K, where I'm getting to your list. Where's your list? I don't see your list, GZ1K. Where did you post your list? Oh, well, I missed Card Limits list. I missed Sammy's list, I guess, but where's yours? I was only reviewing the list that were posted today. Like, if you have a new list, definitely post it. I don't see your list. Wait. Oh. You posted, it was so small. Okay. Yeah, I scammed you again, GZ1K. Scam Games GX strikes again. So this is GZ1K's 42 card list. I do like 42 where, like, if you run, like, I like 45. I think Fig's form also always said, like, if you're running branded, like, the optimal build is at least like 45. Like, your branded does really well with, like, a lot of cards, or with more than 40. So I think, like, 42 at least gives you the option to add, like, extra things. It's a really clean list as well. You have 2 Cartesia, 2 Quem, which I love in a 40 card list. 2 Quem, so, and then you have the Stellar too, so you have the best of both worlds, and you have enough spells, I think, to make a Stellar good enough. You do have the 1 Shrouded Dragon, which is a little sus. I would probably put that up to 3, and then you do have the Nadir Servant plus the Maximus with no thrust, which I do think that is the best if you don't have the thrust, you run the Nadir package. For sure with Maximus. So you do have the Super Poly or no Super Poly to go along with it, but you do have the Guru on the side deck, or extra deck, so I like that. Banishment in the main deck for the Light and Darkness Dragon Lord on top of Branded and White on top of Red. I can't hate on it. I would just say I would like more Bystials in a build like this when you're running Allure of Darkness personally. But overall, I think the 1 talent or 2 talents also, I don't think there's enough board breakers in this deck too, so I'd probably add Book of Eclipse. Book of Eclipse is our best board breaker right now, so I think you do need more Book of Eclipse. You could potentially run 3 talents as your board breaker too. on like 4 hours of sleep the last 2 nights, but I'm doing just fine. New format has me up and energetic. So in the extra deck, 2 Mirror Jade, 2 Albion, 1 Lubellion, 1 Guignol. Definitely go to the 2 Guignol, but you don't even run the puppet. So yeah, where's the ad lib though? If you don't run puppet, you need ad lib. You need the ad lib in there as well, especially if you're running banishment. Like you're inting GZ1K without ad lib in your main deck. You got to get Discord, man, says EPA. You really do, EPA. You really do. We have the best Discord community ever. I'd love to have you in there. And then also you would get access to the coaching group chat where you can just ask me anything off air. MetaGamesGX says EPA. That's a new one. Yeah, bro, get it, says Corey. I'm waiting for the tins for the other 2 thrusts. Oh, fair. Do you have... Where's the 1 thrust, though? You should just main the 1 thrust at that point. I still play 2 Mercurier, says EPA, but I use it mainly in Bestial / Gold Sark. Fair enough. Alert also forces you to play 2 Merc and 2 Tragedy. You don't... Actually, it's 2 and 1 is the correct ratio. You don't have to do 2 and 2. EPA, I've also been using the Nadir package plus Gurua and Elder Entity in the side. I do think that's really cool. You could also run Malong, which bounces, which might like be better for floating. I think that Entis removing cards, though, is way better. We do have Sammy's melodious sprite list here. I really like it. It's sprite cards, it's melodious. There's some ice barrier cards. What else do you want? It's really spicy, actually. You also can go into Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon, which is just crazy. And we also have card limits. 60 card God Pile. I hope Card Limits is still here. Shout out to Card Limits if he's still here. I do appreciate you, brother. Sorry we took so long to get to the deck list. But yeah, no, the 60 card God Pile, 2 Obelisk of the Tormentor, and then 1 Spirit Raw, and then 2 the Winged Dragon Raw, 2 Slifer the Sky Dragon, and then 3 Raw Sphere Mode with 3 of the Planetary Pathfinder, and then 2 of the Spooky Dogwood in the main deck, because of course he is able to actually use the life point differential to be able to go up in attack points with some of his monsters, so it's pretty cool. And then he does have the Numeron Wall, because of course this is Numeron Gods, so you are able to, it's a going second build. No Desires, he does have the droplets though, and then Memories of Hope with lots of draw power. He does have the he does run the Tasano Shinjuku or whatever it's called. It's basically this spell card that allows you to tribute a level 10 from hand or field to draw 2 cards. I think it's a quick play too, which is kind of crazy. He does main deck the Lightning Storms and Feather Duster, which should be your main indication that, of course, this is a going second deck. He does have the Terraforming. I do wonder if he'd like Thrust in this kind of build, honestly. I feel like Thrust would kind of go hard. We do have Elix list right here. What's up, Elic, in the chat? How you doing? How you doing? I sent my list on Cord, Chris. Well, I got it. Got right in front of us. What do you think, Chris? Well, let's see. It's the list of all time. No, it's definitely a good list offhand. I do like the Ecclesia, but you have no Gizmek Uka. If you're running Ecclesia, you might as well be siding the Ecclesia. Also, the Dracostapelia and Borreload Furious, I just have to say offhand, should not be in the side deck. They are not side deck cards. I would just take out the Dragoon, and then obviously you are running the Super Poly though, so it's like you have to make concessions. I would just put in Borrel over Dragoon and call it a day on that front. And then put in 1 Mirror Jade, and then put in a second Guignol, because you have no, actually you don't need the second Guignol, you're not running Puppet, so you could just take out the 1 Mirror Jade and then maybe do Stapelia over that. And then like main a Shiren to be able to like fuse back the second Mirror Jade. I just think you need more space. I do like the main deck. You do have a board breaker package of 3 Dark Ruler and then 3 Super Poly, which is definitely very solid because you do actually run the Guru Mud Dragon, which is when Super Poly is at its best, so you can actually always break the board. And you do have the Ecclesia in the main, which is a cool card even without the Gizmekuka. I just think, you know, because it's a quick play tribute, summon Fallen of Albaz, it's also But it's not really that easily summonable or searchable, so it's just not the best. And you do have the 2 kit. I would probably go down to 1 kit. I do like the 1 duality. Of course, it's a once per turn, so make sure you don't brick on it. You run the one of your Diaz tech. 1 branded banishment, and then the side deck, besides that, the 3 nib, probably take that out, and then put in, like, Mulchummies for the board breakers. Very good list. Oh no, not the spooky dogwood, folks. Not the spooky dogwood. I understand spooky dogwood though. I just don't think we need it in our format unless you have like a specific issue with time, like the other guy did, who said like his locals, it's just a time specific thing. Everything goes to time. Shiren plus the 3 Albaz, plus the 3 Shroud Dragon, plus the 1 Magnuma, and then the 2 Saranir, plus 3 Aluber, plus 2 Cartesia, plus 2 Quem. 1 grass is greener. Oh, this is a grass deck with Nadir. I kind of like grass with Nadir because, like, Nadir can just fish out the Quem or, like, Maximus that you mill. You don't run the Maximus, though, which I feel like is a shame with Nadir. Like, Maximus is just... It really takes it to the next level when you... Especially when you already side the Garura. Like, you should just do that. Like, main the Garura, then take out, like, the Stapelia and, the Alba for the Mud Dragon. Because I don't think you need Alba if you have Super Poly, because then you can just Super Poly the board. Ugh. You're running Book of Eclipse. You're really sweet talking me here on this list when you run Book of Eclipse. Because whenever I see Book of Eclipse, I'm like, this guy knows what he's talking about. It's just crazy and branded. It's our best board breaker by far. I just feel like you're doing yourself a disservice if you don't run it, you know. Because you're able to dodge Imperm, you're able to dodge Valor, you're able to dodge Ghost Mourner, which are cards that every good deck runs 9 copies of. Besides that, I would say the Spooky Dogwood could probably go on the side unless you have an issue with time. And put the Guru in the main. And this was Trey's deck list. Shout out to Trey. And I think this is the last deck list. We have Wubo's deck list here. And it is a purely deck list. So that is very interesting, actually. I haven't had a purely deck list in a minute. Got Purely Gamer in the chat. I appreciate you coming in these branded waters, these troubling times. I saw someone say like they should bring back one of the Purely spells to 3 so that you could play Desires and not just get blown out by Desires, which I found pretty cool. But your deck did get hit a little bit by Prosperity to 3, no? But obviously you're running already you're running a Legal Knight in the main. You gotta explain that one to me. So like how like what are you doing with a Legal Knight? You're also running a Griffin Rider, but okay, so you do have the adventure package. I didn't notice the adventure package. So this is adventure purely. Right, the Varus Mirror just like blended in as a purely card to me for some reason there. You're also running Board Breaker purely, which is interesting. I would say though, you have to explain that reasoning to me because purely is typically a deck that does best when you can search or you can draw hand traps in your opponent's draw phase off of the Sleepy Memory being attached. And it's like you're running Sleepy Memory, so you might as well run the hand traps because elsewise you're not drawing into anything you need. That's why purely is kind of forever stuck to as a deck that needs to run hand traps as long as they have their current win cons, which is like draw 4 every turn plus unaffected. I like the adventure engine though. That's kind of spicy. I'm curious what you thought about that. Can you explain how book dodges, says Leo S? So Book of Eclipse dodges because if a target is no longer face up after it's been targeted, the effect will always fizzle on it. So if you target like a Luber with infinite impermanence, like, so I go Chainlink 1 Illuber and my opponent goes Chainlink 2 Effect Veiler. I go Chainlink 3 Book of Eclipse, and then my Illuber, your chain will resolve backwards. So Chainlink 3 Book of Eclipse books my Illuber. Now Illuber is no longer being targeted by Book of Eclipse because it's face down. So it basically like shrugs off that target, and you're able to resolve Book of Eclipse. You just can't quite target a face down Illuber with a Veiler, so that's why it won't no longer work. You can't target a face down monster with imperm. That's why it doesn't work. Oh no, not the spooky dog ghost. I'm afraid of women, says EPA. Which card should I exchange with Garura? It says, let me see. I think I still have your list up, don't I? It's probably going to be Alba Lenatus. And you could just like side Lenatus. You could just do that swap there. That or like the second Mirror Jade, because you do run the Shiren. I personally would do the second Mirror Jade. You forgot me. It says Lee Warrior. Oh yeah, I did. My bad. My bad, Maxi. So we do have, who was this? Declos. Ravendus. So these will be the last two deck lists. This 49 card branded with Maximus and Nadir, so I like that already. You have Thrust and you still play Nadir, which is interesting. I would probably just play Allures at that point. But you gotta let me know how you like the Nadirs. That's something I've been wanting to test more this format, is like Nadir. Because against Shifter it's bad, but like every other deck it's great going first. I just don't know about going second. Because you need like every card going second, and this card does not help you win going second. Helps you establish a game state. Ugh. Oh boy. So like, yeah, those are the changes. Maybe go 52, like make a clan 50. Also more Bestials perhaps because of the 3 high spirit, and then you would be running a lure. I do really like the Book of Clips, and then Dark Ruler is like fine. I'd probably say Droplets generally better, but Dark Ruler's fine. Side deck Droplet should probably be in the main. But obviously it's kind of like my list. You're just interchanging them. Magnemite should be in the main. Herald for the Purely, I'm assuming. Elsewise, probably take it out. Like if you don't always play a Purely duelist at your locals, you don't need Herald in the side. But I understand, like, we do kind of like hate our Purely matchup. Just win the die roll. 2 talents. Probably take those out for like Mulchummies or something. Phantasme, Uka. And then Garura for the Nadir Servant, then 2 Guignol and Sprine. 1 Mirror Jade. I'd throw in the Shiren if you're on 1 Mirror Jade or 1 Adlib. Definitely need one of those options to recur the second Mirror Jade. I mean, I don't think you definitely do, but it would help. So besides that, solid list. And we do have Runic. We have Runic Stun? Runic Whitewoods? Runic Whitewoods. By Maxi, we have an updated Runic Whitewoods build. I'm happy we get to see what it looks like post-ban list. Basically the same, except you only have 1 skill drain. That's crazy. But you do run the chicken game, which is interesting. How do you like the chicken game, Maxi? And you do run the 2 Bestials because those are great bodies with the level 2 tuners. and then the terraforming plus the tails and the Whitewoods cards. And you do main deck the evenly matched because you don't really want to run hand traps in a runic deck, obviously. And plus the talents, so very solid main deck. Rest in peace, skill drain though. Did skill drain change much? And then the extra deck is a bunch of runic cards. You are not running the Sleipnir. I'd recommend Sleipnir. It's kind of spicy. Also, you could try out the Zapper. Oh, you do have the Zapper Shrimp. But did you know if you run the Zapper Shrimp, you could run also Godia the Deep Beyond to get a field nuke on your opponent's turn. That's by banishing all their cards all the cards on the field. So definitely something that you could consider. You do run the Whitewoods synchros, one of each, and then one Chengying. You gotta run it. It's a synchro runic. One Baguska is interesting. I like that actually for shifter. And then one Typhon and then one SP Lil Knight. And the side deck is 3 Phantasme, 3 Mulchummy, 3 Dogwood. I think that's kind of unnecessary. You don't need to do the cursed Italian ratios anymore. And then where like everyone where the Nesh ratios where you just run this for Lacrima Burn, but Lacrima Burn's no longer a thing. I like the Scarlight for time, and then 3 Dark Rulers, like, fine with the 1 Valor, because you can search it through the Whitewoods cards, and then Rivalry. Why is there more Nadir? Nadir's okay, but, like, I don't know. I feel like there's better options. Just get lucky, man. You need to be skilled in the art of luck. I mean, sometimes that's Yu-Gi-Oh, guys. Sometimes, like, a lot of these people who win, they're having a good day, and they play so much Yu-Gi-Oh, they get to have a lot of good days. Big Dingus, do you need to be a member in order to submit a list? Nope. I would like to join, but I'm trying to save money. This game isn't cheap, lol, but I'd like to support the channel by liking and watching all the videos. Well, I do appreciate that, Big Dingus. And yes, you can just post your deck list in the deck list chat, of course. You do not need to be a member in order to do that. If you have a deck list quick, I can review it. If not, that was probably going to be the last one. Wubo, I like the board breakers and purely since I've found the deck kind of struggles playing into a board, especially in this format where the decks can play through multiple hand traps pretty easily. Oh, I get it. I see why people maybe want to run the 60 card build so you can run hand traps and board breakers and then desires. You know what that means? FISH, says EPA. Chicken Gang was KK. Yeah, no, Chicken Game seems kind of counterintuitive, but it does give you a free draw. All right, let's watch the rest of this pack deck list. I don't know what that means. Yeah, no,
I'm a big fan of 3 Cartesia.
Thank you all for submitting your deck list too.
I like it a lot because I find it like if you play 3 High Spirits, you have a lot of way to put Albaz in the graveyard, which means that Cartesia is always going to be alive to summon from the hand for free. So I just think that it's too broken not to play. It always beats impermanence and stuff like that. So
thank you all for submitting your deck list.
3 Albaz, 3 more Albaz that draws you a card, right? This card is just too crazy. It just draws you a card which fixes your hand, and it puts Albaz in the grave, or it helps you search Brand Fusion, right? So it's too good. Kid is really important. Broken not to play. It always beats impermanence and stuff like that. So
Thank you all for submitting your deck list.
3 Albaz, 3 more Albaz that draws you a card, right? This card is just too crazy. I used to side it out going second a lot, but now I never do. Because it's a way to recycle back your 1 Brand Fusion from the banish pile.
I just ignored the super chat. No, did I ignore the super chat? Oh my gosh. It's the why for some reason my chat does not give me a notification for super chat. I need to be better about that, guys. I apologize. Was there a super chat? I'm going to go back to it and read the super chat. I'm going to
because it's a way to recycle back your 1 Brand Fusion from the banish pile.
Where's the super chat? There's no super chat. The fuck? Where's the super chat? Did I? I'm good. All right, hold up.
Which a lot of people forget that Kid can add from the banish pile. So yeah. 1 Mercurier. I might bump it up to 2 because I'm back on Allure, but yeah. 1 Gimmick Puppet. You still have to play it. 1 Tragedy, and then that's pretty much.
Thanks GZ1K for becoming a member on Twitch. I do appreciate it. Thank you. Oh, my mic was turned on. Thanks for becoming a member, or for resubbing on Twitch for 2 months. GZ1K ads getting annoying. I understand the ads do get insane on Twitch, so thank you for supporting the channel, of course. Why is this going off? No, it's echoing it. Yeah, sorry about that, guys.
That's pretty much the deck. For the bestial package, I played 3 Sarnier. I think this bestial is
But thank you, GZ1K, for becoming a member for 2 months. Do appreciate it.
really crazy because it works really well with high spirits, and it makes you basically it makes high spirits really broken if you open this card with high spirits. So, and then 1 Magnamut, and then 1 Libellion. Yeah. I think these are the best bestials that the branded deck can play, and I think Sarnier sometimes is like better than Magnamut, especially when you go first. Well, Sarnier is 100% better than Mag when you go first. Mag is better when you go second. The 1 Brand Fusion, playing 1 right now. 3 high spirits. This card is basically Brand Fusion. If you resolve this, like
Yeah,
it's just
100%.
so
That's why I like 3 high spirits.
broken, because this card can search pretty much any card in your deck, and it feels as if Brand Fusion resolved when you resolve high spirits. 3 opening, of course. 1 loss, 1 red. I feel like that's all you need. Maybe you could play 2 red. I played 3 Allure of Darkness.
Oh, how did I know that wasn't you, Rev?
3 thrusts. 3 droplets. 1 call by, 1 talent, 1 retribution, 1 dupe. I think that's 48 cards. It was basically my 50 card list, and then I took out 2 fusion. I don't know. Count it again, guys. I'm not sure. I just forgot. For the extra deck, I play the same extra deck. I think this is like pretty much solved, at least for like the current format. But yeah, so 2 Mirror Jades, 2 Grangonol, 1 Libellion. Let's see what else is here. 2 Albion, 1 Rinbrum. I actually end up making Rinbrum as an interruption a lot, which is pretty good. 1 Jitini Clad. If you resolve this, like that's all. 3 Allure of Darkness, 3 Fusion Deployment,
I do like the allures.
3 thrusts, 3 droplets, 1 call by, 1 talent, 1 retribution, 1 dupe. I think that's 48 cards. It was basically my 50 card list, and then I took out 2 fusion. I don't know. Count it again, guys. I'm not sure. I just forgot. For the extra deck, I play the same extra deck. I think this is like pretty much solved, at least for like the current format. But yeah, so 2 Mirror Jades, 2 Grangonol, 1 Libellion. Let's see what else is here. 2 Albion, 1 Rinbrum. I actually end up making Rinbrum as an interruption a lot, which is pretty good. 1 Jitini Clad, 1 Sanctifier. Should have been banned, but thank God it's not. This card is crazy. Quirtless to help you survive OTKs. Furious against Runic decks, and just a really good interruption in general. Sepelia, I never make this card, but it's good under Shifter. Chimera, and then 1 Albalinitis. Albalinitis is crazy because there's some lines where you have to like summon Serenir by banishing a card from your grave, and then you summon an Albaz, and then you contact fuse for Lanitis to like get plays going. But yeah, guys, I went undefeated today with this list in pre-ban lists with like full power Snake Eyes and.
Oh, that's cool. That was pre-ban list too. Alrighty. So, do appreciate everybody coming through to the stream today. We've been streaming for almost 4 hours here. Think I'm getting a little tired. I want to go get some food. Appreciate everybody coming through. I'm going to read some chats before I go here. Surely leave a like on the stream if you haven't already. Make sure to check out the deck profile if you haven't already. The Ultimate Branded Guide as well. I believe Nadir is personally better than High Spirits due to High Spirits needing a Dragon in the opening hand, and Nadir can be full combo. That's kind of where I was at one point. I just think that High Spirits is being a quick play is really broken to play around like Shifter and Roll. Like High Spirits doesn't play, or Nadir doesn't play around Shifter and Roll, whereas High Spirits does. I mean, Nadir can play around Roll though. Any timestamps for Nadir build? I can't hear you. Yeah, okay. Alright, guys. I hope everyone has a good day. MetaGamesGX signing out. We will be seeing you guys later. I would do a 24-hour stream today. It's just we did the 8-hour one the other day. I want to pace myself for this week, Corey. So we'll definitely be back probably either tomorrow or Wednesday for another stream. So I do appreciate it though.